Ladies and gentlemen, welcome into the University of Western Ontario, located in the Forest City. This is the Ontario Summer Football League 2022 Junior Varsity Championship. I'm Jonathan Urbanowicz, joined by Coach McKay. Coach, we got a great game on tap. Technically, a battle of undefeated teams. Yes, London does have one in the L column, but that was actually due to a forfeit back on July 9th. We'll get into all that throughout the broadcast. But as far as what's transpired on the turf, on the football field, between the 110 yards, neither team has suffered a loss, yet somebody's O has got to go this afternoon for this championship dance.
Well, let's just hope that Essex is aware of the reason for the loss and they don't take him too lightly. But, the Junior Mustangs have got a strong squad from what we've seen all year, led on offense by a lot of juggernauts and big up front. So it's going to be a smash mouth game, as it has always been, between Essex and the Junior Mustangs.
London's led by their quarterback, DJ Fonte, who completed 42 of 107 passes, Coach, during the regular season. That was good for 561 yards and 9 touchdowns. But he didn't just get it done in the air. No. The DJ was spinning it up on the ground, too, as he had multiple rushing touchdowns, another 8 on the ground.
Yep, that's explosive for sure. And today's the day they're going to want that, because legs are going to be a factor in this game. So hopefully they get him started early.
Coach, this is a Sunday afternoon championship affair. Maybe a quirky thing to say, but, well, the Essex Ravens started their season off on a Sunday back on May 15th in a 49-0 victory over the Peel Panthers back on their home turf, known as Alumni Field. London has not played a game on Sunday in 2022, so is it going to be a Sunday, bloody Sunday for the purple and white?
Well, everyone loves to play on a Sunday, so I think they'll be here, and I don't think they're going to let Essex finish it off with a bookend win. I think it's going to be a fight to the death today.
They say the offense sells the tickets. The defense, though, Coach, will win you the championships. London comes in with the most points forward, 233 in their division. However, wasn't the most in the league. No, that went to the Cumberland team, who put up 300 on the board. However, we're stymied to just 15 points in the last playoff contest against London, losing 33-15, allowing the home team that's hosting this championship game to be in the final dance. And going back to the defensive narrative, just 39 points given up by the purple and white. That's not just best in the division, Coach. That's best in the entire OSFL.
Well, yeah, you're right. Offense wins games, defense wins championships, they say. And by the sounds of it, this has got a defensive roster that could all be playing in the CIS or U Sport in the next couple years. So I think it's going to be quite the game to behold.
The home London Junior Mustangs are wearing their white uniforms, purple numbering, and pants and silver buckets, whereas I don't know if this is the appropriate wardrobe in 40-plus degree heat. The all-black attire is sexy, though, of the Essex Ravens.
Not what I would want to be wearing today, that's for sure. So home field advantage today goes to Western with the whites, so let's hope it keeps them cool.
And once again, technically these two teams were supposed to play each other in Windsor back on Saturday, July 9th. Unfortunately, a legend, really, of the London and Ontario football community as a whole, KJ Kedemi, passed away, and an bereavement was made on the varsity level. I actually love that, shown by Glenn Mills, the head coach of the Ravens on the varsity side, saying we're not taking that win. It ends up being a tie on the varsity side. However, the junior varsity team says, well, no, you're not going to come out and play. That is a forfeiture. It technically went down as a 6-0 loss. But again, going back off the statistics there, Coach, this is the number one defensive and offensive team of the division and defensive of the league in London. In second in that category, just nibbling on their toes, though, is the Essex Raven squad.
That's right. Western has a lot they want to do today. The Junior Mustangs, they got a point to prove, and they're winning this one for Coach K and all that he represented in the community of football here in London. That is for sure.
Now, we talked about DJ Fonte. We have to talk about Nate Rochello, more than likely the starting QB for the Essex Ravens. I mean, to be the man, you got to beat the man. Nate Rochello has a long history of winning on the turf for the Essex Ravens. He's hoping to continue that, as well as the Ravens' tradition of winning here in London. Remember, 3 years ago, Coach Mills wants to say history repeats itself. He had 2 squads come to this very turf in this very building and pull out 2 championship victories.
Yep. He's going to have his work cut out for him today, though. That defense by the Junior Mustangs is ferocious, and they are tight. So he's going to earn every yard he gets on the ground or in the air today. That is for certain.
A beautiful sign of respect being shown at midfield. It looks like we are observing a moment of silence dedicated to the man, the legend, the coach, KJ Kedemy. You're with us, brother. It's 40-plus degrees with the humidity, but it might as well be 68 and breezy, my friend. We miss you.
Thank you.
And I know this is a championship game, and we are going to get into the national anthems in just a moment, but I want to key in on the point that, a day like today is not possible without a KJ Kedemy. This entire weekend, bringing this collective football to the Forest City. This isn't the first time, Coach McKay, and if you look at Junior Mustangs TV, another credit to a KJ Kedemy creation, women's flag football, Beefeaters OFC championship football. He's literally covered from A to Z in this beautiful sport.
Yeah, Coach K did things the right way, the way you want all your future coaches to do it. So he has certainly left his impact in this game, in this city, in this province this year and for a long time.
It does look like we are heading off to the national anthem here at Alumni Stadium. And for Coach McKay, I'm John Urban. The kickoff of this championship is on the other side. The national anthem sung before this 2022 Junior Varsity Championship. They call it the A Championship, Coach. They say they leave the best for last, and yet here we are, the Essex Ravens versus the London Junior Mustangs. Not just once, no, it'll be take two later on, as this is the Junior Varsity A Championship. We also have the Varsity A Championship set for a 7 p.m. kickoff later on today. Both featuring the same two teams. It's London, it's Essex, and I don't care if it's women's crochet or lawn bowling. If you involve a place from Windsor and you involve a place from London, there's going to be some rivalry going on.
This isn't the first time they've been together and met in the finals. It won't be the last, that's for sure, and I think it goes to show where football is strong and thriving in the province, Windsor and London. It is a hotbed of football, and I know there's university coaches in the stands for this in the next game, and I don't think either team is going to disappoint today.
And it is a hotbed of football quite literally today, as it is 31 degrees come kickoff, feeling more like 41 with the humidex. However, a little bit of a breeze, 27 degrees, or 27 kilometers an hour, I should say, coming out of the southwestern direction. We actually just saw earlier the Bantam Championship. Ron Forwarda, the voice of an angel, took us through that one, and it came down to a game-winning field goal. Congratulations to Burlington. We're kicking this one away. It's the Mustangs versus the Ravens. This one's received at the 29-yard line and getting hammered out of bounds in front of their own bench. They're going to start this one off. Are the Ravens in decent territory?
Yeah, that was a nice reception and a nice return. Mustangs didn't give him much room to breathe at all. They were all over him in a hurry. He just sort of tried to get to the sideline and get out while he could.
You could see with that kick, too, didn't allow any real estate for any Ravens returners to do any serious damage. But the first offensive play of this championship game will take place from the 37-yard line. Again, the Essex Ravens, led by Nate Rochello, the 2007-born QB, has 3 options now to his right side. Watch for the house to come down by the London Junior Mustangs. They swag to the line. It's a handoff, and we're going to get a dose of the run. Now, that ball actually looked like it had squirted down to the turf. They're going to say it maintains Ravens' ball.
Yep, it just looks like it was a bit of a power run inside, and the Western defensive front was having nothing to do with it. Junior Mustangs are in a 30 front, and that would tell you that those 3 big plugs in the middle are pretty solid and do a good job not allowing many
Can
yards.
I just say I feel for you right away because I've only made that mistake 1,000 times. You're looking at a Western Mustangs logo, but it's the London Junior Mustangs.
Yeah, it's the Junior Mustangs.
Well, we're both going to make that mistake about another 10 times today each. As it's a drop back for a pass behind the coverage. Oh my word. Holy cannoli. What a catch, reeling it in. That's Malachi Jackson. Some heavy damage. They went from their 37 all the way to the Mustangs 42.
Yeah, they just ran that slot back up the seam, and it looks like the safety bit over to the motion. The W, the slot back went to the other side, and the safety sort of cheated over. That allowed the receiver to get above coverage and pulling a nice ball over top of his head.
There was 3 white uniforms, and yet it was the one Raven and Malachi getting down to the ball. Shotgun with motion. Rochello with the handoff. Their first run play didn't really go anywhere, Coach, and neither does this one.
No, that one was an inside zone. They ran a zipper wham on that one, so they ran an inside zone with the slot back coming across, and that running back did not get much field position on that run.
It was the 5th game of the season, the 5th game. I can't believe this, where it finally got in opposition to score some points against the Junior Mustangs. They shut out the Waterloo Predators, shut out the Chatham-Kent Cougars, shut out the Etobicoke Eagles, shut out the Niagara Spears, and then eventually Brantford went, we'll put some points on the board. Oh yeah, they lost 63-7 in that one. And then what do you know, the next week, they're in Cambridge, a pretty good opponent in the Cambridge Lions, shut them out 34-0. So in their first 6 games, 5 shutouts in 2022.
Yeah, and I got to guess that touchdown in that one game was not on the ground. And my guess is there was some youngins on the field, but
here we go.
Nice.
That's completed. It's deuces to the far side. Nice tackle out of bounds. Some ferocity from Temperman Akito.
Yep, I think that's what Essex is going to have to do. They just slipped the slot back out into the flat and just gave him the ball. If they were in zone coverage, someone might not have picked him up right away, but it bought him some yards.
Ryan Connolly on the catch and run for brings up 3rd down. They're going to say he got 6 on that play. Next one from the 36-yard line. Coach, what do you draw up here?
Well, they got a choice. What's the down and distance? It's 3rd and 2.
3rd and 4.
3rd and 4. Yeah, well, I would probably not put it on the ground, that's for sure. I'd get him out into space again. Well,
they break out of the pro set here. It's a handoff to maybe not so much your liking. However, they get up to the 30. They get the first down. They went to the big man and Donovan Osman. Now, interesting about Osman and Connolly, amazing two-way players. You're not just going to see him do it on the offense. You're going to see him do it on the defense, too.
Yeah, it looks like they ran a bit of a slot back sweep on that one. Just happened to catch the defense sleeping. I assume they were expecting something in the air or something back up inside again. But you know what? They got to space. This is what you're going to have to do to these guys.
I talked about how London had 5 shutouts in their first 6 games. Well, Essex, nothing to slouch at. 3 shutouts in their first 4 games of the season. Trying to get London to bite. However, the far receiver, in my opinion, was still offside, and I think they're going to call him on it.
Yeah, the Zed's not supposed to move when they're trying to draw the defense offside, but he had a bit of a brain fart there and definitely stepped over, and that got the flag, but it was a smart play. They overloaded quads to the boundary side, so obviously they're probably either trying to isolate the X receiver here on the wide side or just try and overbalance them with a run over to the boundary side there. But nonetheless,
Donovan Osman's the one that comes off of that play, but if you and I are correct, the man with the hand in the cookie jar was Liam Havinga on that far side for the Ravens. Regardless, it turns to a 1st and 15 here Rochello goes back into the gun, has two weapons to his left side as Essex having a pretty good opening drive to this championship tilt. Rochello going deep, had success the first time. And I don't know if the ball got caught up in the gusty air here in the Forest City, but that seemed to be a dying quail once it hit its apex.
Yeah, it almost looks like it might have got tipped a little bit by the defensive end that got in there on the pressure. Oh, sorry, that was a linebacker blitzing, but that offensive receiver definitely got behind the Mustangs again.
Do you like Rochello taking another shot there after having early success?
Yeah, it doesn't look like the junior Mustangs are doing the job over top that the coaches probably want them doing. So I think that's probably going to be the recipe for them. Get the ball outside, get the ball over top, and let your receivers and athletes do the work.
A plethora of weapons to the left side of Rochello. It's going to be a pitch to Deuces, but it's gobbled up. A tackle for a loss. Getting behind it, it's Zaire, the linebacker.
Well, they lined up in that overbalance, that quad formation to the boundary again. You know, again, either a pass to the wide side or a run to that overbalance. But the defensive junior Mustangs were having nothing to do with it. They saw it coming and they flowed there in a hurry.
Like shedding cat hair on a humid day. He was all over him, and there's nothing he could do about it. So 3rd and long. I assume this time they're going to listen to you, Coach, and stay away from the ground attack. Rochello going deep, does have a man behind the defense, in and out of the hands. He almost had it too, Coach.
It was right there again. They're taking advantage of that corner. That safety got over to help at the last second, but he's going to have to do a little bit more to stay a little bit conservative over top. They've gone to the air 3 times. They've sort of beat their coverage over top 3 times, and if it wasn't for that safety helping out, they would have been in big trouble for a big game.
Do you like that decision, though, knowing that if they had punted, they really could have hemmed the Mustangs within their own zone here early in this championship game, which does have goose eggs on the board?
It does, that's right. I think they know they want to take a shot early. They want to try and rattle them a little bit, but let's see what happens here.
Mustangs' first offensive play of this championship game. DJ Vonti controlling the offense. They'll stagger off to the right side. A handoff, I believe that is Manning, and the pile keeps on moving closer towards the first down. It looks like he's going to easily gain 8. Manning over the course of the regular season, Coach, 638 rushing yards, 10 TDs, and you can see why here, a little bit of a bulldozer mentality.
Yep, that was a power right, and I think you're going to see a lot of that from the J-Stangs today. That is going to be a signature running play for them.
Hammer the run.
Smash mouth football.
A little bit of a high snap, settle down. We get another dose of Manning, but there's a sandwich behind the line. And I told you, Coach, that we got some great two-way players on the field. This time, though, it's Ethan Matei, the linebacker, getting in and doing the damage.
Yeah, he timed that one up perfectly. I'm trying to see where he came through there. But, yeah, they were just trying to run to that right side again and follow behind the power block. And that linebacker shot the gap and got into the backfield for the tackle for a loss.
It isn't just Manning that will do the damage from the backfield, though. They also have Roberts. He accumulated 347 yards, 6 touchdowns. And as I already mentioned earlier in this game, Fonte had 8 rushing touchdowns on top of his 10 passing touchdowns in the regular season.
Yeah, I'd watch out for that guy.
That's your scouting report there, Coach.
We would watch a bit of film.
A little bit, just a little. So, 3rd and short, the junior Mustangs are going to be the first one to punt this ball away. And what do you know? He doesn't just do it with the arm, Coach, and the legs. Well, there's DJ Fonte all the way down to the 30, brought back towards the 40. It'll be the second drive of the game for the Essex Ravens here with 5:53 remaining in the opening quarter. A reminder that this quarter is brought to you by Area 51 Sports Apparel. Area 51 Sports is a Canadian minority-owned apparel company that specializes in team sports. They have dozens of suppliers which allow us to offer our customers a full array of products. Area 51 Sports Apparel offers quality, budget-friendly sports apparel and field equipment. Area 51, the sports industry's best-kept secret. Check them out at www.area51sports.ca. Here we go. The first play of this second drive. Rochello has 4 targets to his left side. This is always when I think it's coming to us. A little bit of a stagnant play, a delayed handoff, and, well, he goes into the stable, Coach, as a cornucopia of white jerseys smother him in the backfield.
Yeah, they didn't fool anyone, but I'm not sure if that was a design delay or not. I don't think so. It was an inside zone, and Well, yeah, he was pretty delayed actually.
They
wanted pressure to get upfield, and the white did get upfield, but there happened to be linebackers waiting for the black running back, the running back in black when he came.
The Essex Ravens had two close, nail-biting affairs in the postseason to get here to Western University today. They beat the Burlington Stampeders back on Alumni Field 29-26 in a playoff thriller, and just came off of a 28-27, even more fantastic game if you ask me, against my Durham Dolphins. The flippin' fish let me down again.
Yeah.
They're going back to the BT ball. There it is. Cotton hauled down at the 34-yard line. My, oh my, from their 40 down to the 34. And it actually is number 34, ironically enough. And Malachi Jackson, his second big play of the game on the offensive side of the ball.
Yeah, they just had him one-on-one against the corner. He just ran the streak, and he outran that corner. That corner was in man coverage, but a little bit too tight. He's going to have to back off and give him some respect.
The rush defense is locked down like a nuclear submarine at 15,000 feet, Coach. However, the cover two, cover three, it looks like Swiss cheese.
Yeah, it sure does. They're going to run that 4x1 all day if they in second down for sure. So
they're knocking, and I say knocking on the red zone right now are the Ravens. Two swag to the line. Rochello looking deep. This one's deflected. Incomplete pass, and I think some Ravens fans wanted a call on that Malachi hit. However, once the ball got deflected, fair game.
It is fair game. He reached back. That was a little bit behind him. I don't know if it was tipped or not, but that receiver could not get a hand on it. But once he tipped it, yep.
Ravens, by the way, started off the season 49-0 over the Peel Panthers, 48-0 over the Niagara Spears. Had a tight battle against the Burlington Stampeders, but still beat them at Ron Joy Stadium 14-6. 42-0 over the Brantford Bisons. And then, like I said, they've had close games against Cambridge, Hamilton, Burlington, and Durham to get here. Some adversity sure helps in championships.
It does indeed. And there's that 4x1 again. They're just going 4x1 toss to the overbalanced receiver side or isolated pass to that X receiver alone on the top. But again, those junior Mustangs are not giving up much yardage on those toss plays.
We got another dose of, Ryan Connolly on that play. Now remember, they went for it on 3rd and 15 from further out. I'd imagine with 3rd and 11, they're going to stick to that mentality here.
They would be crazy not to. My guess is 34 is going to be lined up by himself. Again, nope, they're going with a balanced formation.
See, I'm getting all choked up because I'm thinking about the arguments me and KJ would have, being like, well, you kick the field goal here and get the points early.
Why are you trying to fix what's not broken either?
Rochello, pump faking, going towards the end zone. This one is caught. Touchdown, Ravens. Liam Havinga, a 24-yard hookup, in the Ravens strike first here in the Junior Varsity Championship dance.
Yep, they just ran a post over the middle. And that safety did not get again over top of him, and it cost him with a reception in the end zone.
A 24-yard bomb, and it was that beautiful pump fake, too, from Rochello that sort of gave the separation for Liam to catch that ball. And let's face it, he took a hit to make the play.
He did. Once he caught that ball, that other safety came across and made him pay for it, hoping to jostle it loose. But nope, secure hands. He caught it, went down, and it is good for 6.
So can they add the PAT here? A bit of a low snap, settled down by the holder, who ironically is the guy that just got the touchdown. This kid can do it all. Liam Havinga saves the play, and it's 7-0 on the board. So, Coach, safe to say, even before halftime rears its head around, adjustments have to be made in the coverage by these junior Mustangs.
Yeah, they're going to have to get over top on number 34 in particular. But, yeah, they're playing a bit of man, and it's a little bit tight. I mean, you want to give a little respect to some great receivers who have beaten you over the top already. So I suspect Coach Stenning on the sideline is going to be shoring that up in the timeout here.
Did I have a brain aneurysm, Coach? Did he miss that PAT?
He did miss that PAT, but I didn't want to correct you.
Okay.
I wasn't sure myself, actually, but he in fact missed it a little wide. And so it's a 6-point lead rather than 7.
Okay, so I thought it was actually saved by Liam. He did a great job of picking the ball off the turf to give his kicker a shot, but, you know, that ebbs and flow of the kicking game, you got to have it, or it's going to throw everything off.
Yeah, back to the Durham Dolphins, actually. I was going to say that I was hoping that they would make the trip down here, too. My nephew is a quarterback for that team, and they lost by a rouge last weekend to Essex. I was listening to that game and getting the updates, so we were kind of hoping to see them here this weekend, but no such luck.
3 years ago, we called the OPFL championships in this building. The Durham Dolphins made their, I think, C final. Didn't win a game the entire regular season. Won all their playoff games and won the championship. How does that work?
Right. Yeah,
whoa, they try and get crafty with it.
Yeah.
And a great job by the Junior Mustangs to collapse on the ball. Really getting into there late was Thorne, number 44, the linebacker. And I think that supported his teammate. Had it plinko off of him.
Yeah, quick heads up by him. It was a bit of a pooch kick. I think actually was shanked a little bit, and that front row blocker ended up jumping on it, which is smart. Although I always try and tell my front row blockers, get the heck out of the way and let the second row pick up the ball. You just block. But you know what? A good heads up play by him there.
So going back to the opening drive, Coach, remember I was saying, hey, you know, they're going to punt it here. No, they don't. On their second drive on a 3rd and long, they still don't punt. This goes off the fingertips of DJ Fonte. No chance for his running back, who spun down to the turf, and Manning. A broken play loses the Mustangs a yard.
Yep, that snap was just a little intense and high, but the running back scooped up the ball and was able to just maintain possession before the wave of Essex Ravens crashed in on him in the backfield.
So Essex wasn't willing to play the game of field position, and they thought, hey, our offense is good enough to get points in this first quarter, and they have done just that. With 2 minutes remaining in the opening cue, they have a 6-0 lead. Now Fonte going to the air. It deflects off the fingertips. You got to reel that one in. It's Machado, their leading wide receiver as far as yards this season.
Yeah, he just ran a quick slant from the X position of the Y position. And just off the fingertips, he was open for that catch. Had he caught it, he would have got a few yards, a first down for sure.
He made 14 catches during the regular season, 160 yards over the course of those plays, and had 2 touchdowns. But that one off the oven mitts, and it goes to a 3rd and 11. So again, the punting unit goes out there. The second time we'll see DJ Fonte punt this one, intentionally kicks it over to the Essex sideline. That's something we saw in the opening kickoff, Coach, and now we've seen on the last 2 punts from Fonte. They're trying to avoid any returning threat that the Ravens may possess.
Yeah, you know what? It's not a bad play. It's a smart play, actually. If you can get enough leg on and get that thing angled out of bounds, you're not giving the other team, the returning team, a chance to return that ball on you. And they have some athletes on that team in Essex, so it's not a dumb play at all.
Just a reminder that this half of football is brought to you by Team Linked, the official sponsor of the OSFL. Team Linked is a Canadian-based team management app enabling teams to share schedules, track attendance, automate reminders, chats, and more. Download Team Linked from the Team Store app or App Store and set your team for free. As this play, well, it's going to keep going, Coach. I call that the Energizer Bunny because you think it's dead, but it just keeps going and going.
Yeah, smart play by Essex, actually. They ran that 4x1 again, that overbalanced formation, and just run inside zone on it, trying to pull the Juniors Mustangs out of the box, but the Junior Mustangs weren't falling for it.
You know, using a bit of a boxing reference here, though, Coach, these run plays are more like body shots. They're not really necessarily doing the knockout ball. However, it is setting up the deep ball, which are those knockout punches.
Yep. And you know what? You just need one seam, and that running back could probably pop it. So J-Stangs just got to stay disciplined in the box and keep doing what they're doing to defend that inside run.
Rochello tried to get the Mustangs to bite. The pressure's coming. He got rid of the ball. It's the touchdown recipient, Havinga, making a nice move. He's going to pick up 13 yards, and he broke a Stang ankle in the process, as I believe Haggerty looked a little foolish at the end of this. And watch here on the replay. Whoop.
That was a nice play. The Junior Mustangs were in zone, so they were sitting off a little bit, and they just ran a slot back out route, and he was wide open. And once you get into space, well, it's one-on-one against a defender, and he was able to make a nice move and pick up some good yards.
So far, the only score of the game came with 2:47 remaining in the quarter. It was a 24-yard TD pass to Liam Havinga, who took the hit to make the play, but a nice pump fake from Nate Rochello to set him free. However, the PAT was missed, despite my eyes tricking me, and it remains a 6-0 game. Rochello looking over to the right side. A bit of a, submarine throw, if you will, that time, but it missed the intended target regardless here, Coach, in number 33, Dominic McKeezy.
Yeah, I just don't think the quarterback had his feet set for that play and just sort of threw it a little short. He also saw that linebacker kind of spine, but the defenders were closing in, but I think he didn't set his feet properly on that, and it got away on him.
So they do say that is the final play of the opening quarter of football. Thanks for joining us, by the way, on your Sunday afternoon here on Junior Mustangs TV. When I say this crew's crazy, I want to emphasize italics and underline the crazy part, because this is just one of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. What? Oh, double-digit football games being covered within a 72-hour period. Again, to quote the late coach KJ Kennedy, if you do anything more than 12 hours or 12 quarters consecutively of football, you are by definition crazy.
I wouldn't disagree with that, especially in this heat this weekend. I tell you, these guys have done a great job. And you know what? They've brought football to the entire province. And I know there's grandparents, parents, family, friends that are watching all around the province. And I can tell you that they're grateful for the great coverage that the Junior Mustangs TV is providing.
Rochello with pressure coming, takes the hit. The pass isn't reeled in, but Rochello is down. And if you're a Ravens fan, you got to be holding your breath. It wasn't a nasty hit, but man, oh man, he was hit by the freight train known as Thompson.
Oh, yeah, Thompson saw that one coming in slow motion, and that's somehow that backside tackle did not pick him up. He came free off the edge, and that's every defensive end's wish, is to get that open rush to the quarterback, and he took full advantage of it. It was a clean hit. It was sort of back in the back of the numbers, and he's going to be down for a minute.
And not enough credit given these days for exactly what you just said. A clean hit.
Yeah.
Plenty of times your eyes go open. It's like the deer on the train tracks theory where you're like, hey, I got him. But then you end up going a little too far.
Yep.
And doing something a little too, we saw in the preview. Can't lead with the head.
Yep.
Can't contact the head with the shoulder. I hate to see Rochello down, and we hope that this champion quarterback can pick himself up and come back into this game. However, you got to give credit where credit is due. Thompson with the nail-biting hit.
Well, I doubt that quarterback will be out of this game for long. He got to this point in this part of the season for a reason. That's because he's a great quarterback, a great athlete, and no doubt a tough guy. So
I don't know if we'll catch it on the replay, but the thing, too, it isn't just the impact of the initial hit. How does he, when he goes and hits the ground? Because you probably know this better than myself. The turf does not give you much real estate.
No, it looks soft, but when you're going, when you got a 250-pound, 300-pound guy on top of you, it's only got so much give. But yeah, he kind of got hit when he was throwing off his back foot there. He saw it coming last second and tried to sort of evade it, but by that point, 99 was already on him. And
you see him holding on to his shoulder as he's coming off the turf right now.
Yeah, he was kind of driven into the turf during the hit, and that's probably that's his throwing arm that hit the turf at the last second, and that's going to sort of feel a little achy for a few minutes for sure. But hopefully the trainers can work on him. He can loosen it up and get back into the game for the next series.
Yeah, he goes straight to the training table and be attended to by the staff. And if you're a Ravens fan with this 3rd and 10 coming up, it's the first time your team's going to punt the ball today. It's number 46, Dresden Howe. The returner can't handle it. He's going to be collapsed all the way down at the 3-yard line. Man, oh man, talk about a beautiful punt there by Dresden Howe. He nails his opponent within the 20.
That was a nice punt. It just sort of drifted. It stayed up a little bit longer than the returner was expecting, and then the returner just sort of lost a hand on it. And he was running backwards like a center fielder at the time, and it just slipped out of his hands, and they couldn't get a finger on it while it was bobbling, and next thing you know, there was a Raven on top of him.
107 yards. That's what the Junior Mustangs need on this drive in order to get their first points on the board here with 11:19 remaining in the opening half of play. Thanks for joining us on Junior Mustangs TV. A quick reminder to hit the like and the subscribe button. Fonte to Manning to the far side. He's got to get out of the end zone, Coach. I don't know if he did. If he did, it's by the nose of the football. And guess what? The Zebras agree with me. By the nose of his chinny chin chin, he gets out of there.
Yeah, they just ran a pod formation offensively where they bring that X-receiver down in motion to the inside of the formation, and they just tried to run an outside zone on it, tried to bring the Raven defender into the box so they could run outside, but no such luck.
They're essentially saying that he extended with the ball because his knees were in the end zone.
Yeah, I don't think they have the luxury of replay, but he just got that ball out by the hair in his chinny chin chin.
2nd and 12 from the 1-yard line. Fonte rolling back, takes a hit. This ball is caught at the 15, close to a first down. They will move the chains. My, oh my, DJ Fonte spinning it up to Brower.
Same formation and the same motion as the last play, a pod formation in motion where they brought that wide receiver down the line, again trying to draw that receiver in. And this time they were able to get the slot back out into the flat.
Not just the difficulty of the pressure of the situation, knowing that you're in your own end zone, you got to get rid of the pigskin. He had the bloody fork right in his way between him and the receiver. What a difficult play pulled off by Fonte.
Yep, those uprights are a daunting object in the way of a ball coming out of the end zone. So
especially in this Canadian version, eh?
That's right, because it's on the front of the end zone, not the back. There's been a few players that have run into those things over the years.
Yes, they always make the TSN CFL highlights of the year.
Well, smart offenses will use that as another blocker and just try and pick defenders into that and allow their receiver to run free into the end zone. So
fortunately, there does look like there's a Raven down at the 25-yard line.
Not sure what happened there.
As I look down on the bench, too, Rochello has both his jersey and his shoulder pads off. They were attending to his arm. As I'm saying that, though, they're attending to that shoulder and looking to try and get his shoulder pads back on.
Yeah, maybe we could see a replay of that last play and see where that injury came from. I'm sure Essex Raven fans will want to know. Oh. Well, that's basically a mass of humanity falling on top of you. That'll do it every time. The two offensive linemen basically just pancake that Essex defender, and another one happened to fall over top of him and on top of him. And so that'll probably knock the wind out of him for a second.
9:32 remains here in the second quarter of play. This is the 2022 Junior Varsity Championship here in the Ontario Summer Football League. They call this the A Championship. It features the Triple A teams. Essentially, this is the best of the best that U16 has to offer in this province.
Yeah, this is great football. I tell you, if you bought a ticket to come here, whether you have a family member on the team or not, you're getting a good show this weekend. Football is alive and well in Ontario, and this is just a great example of a showcase of it.
First time I've come to, well, I used to call it TD Stadium. They call it Alumni Field now. It's the first time I've seen, well, a little bit of renovations done, and they finally ripped off TD Waterhouse off the turf.
Yeah.
That only took 20-plus years after TD Waterhouse was officially not the sponsor anymore.
Yeah, they've done a great job here. They've been busy here all spring. I convened TV Raw Track and Field here, and they were busy bees trying to get this thing ready for the upcoming Western season, and they've done a great job. New lights, new speakers, new field, new track.
I was going to say, I like the track because it doesn't look like a tripping hazard for both the track athletes and football players alike.
Yeah, it's a lot softer on the legs now. The athletes will like it, that's for sure.
So this run play over to the left side really goes nowhere. Third and short, though, Coach, and with about 9-10 remaining here in half, what would you do?
Yeah, it's a little bit of time left, and again, Essex hasn't been giving up a lot of yards too easily either. So I have a feeling they're going to punt this ball away, although I'm not sure they brought any punting personnel on.
You realistically take out those three deep shots, 2 to Malachi Jackson, and then the 1 to Liam Havinga. This is a scoreless game in the second quarter of play. However, those deep shots by the Ravens are the reason why it's a 6-0 score.
Yep, and I don't think the Junior Mustangs were going to take the same shot and the same chance at the 30-yard line. So they brought the punt team on to get some field position back in this next series.
I'm digging the nickname J-Stangs, though. I'm stealing that one.
I'll just add a J to that.
All
make it easy.
Fonte kicks this one all the way to midfield. Flag on the play. The returner gets up to the 41-yard line.
Let's see if that's going to be a no yards rule.
Well, if it was, the ball was caught, so that'd be another 15 yards out of the play.
No, that was clean. I was a block from behind on the first defender. He was outside the halo, which means he was outside the 5-yard halo zone. But the Essex defender just blindsided the Junior Mustangs player in the back, so that's going to go back 10 yards from
I was going to say they're going
the point of reception.
Yep. 10's thrown on. Actually, sorry, they're saying it's a 15-yarder from the spot. And that's huge because it puts the Ravens back on their side of the turf when, think back to London starting off that possession from their 3-yard line. They went back 2 yards. They were at their 1-yard line. DJ Fonte with a nice pass to get out of their own end zone. But right there, the battle of field positioning was favoring Essex. Not so much right now.
Yeah, it's a game of yards, so an extra 15 is going to help the Junior Mustangs out and just buy them a bit of breathing room on this next Essex offensive possession.
Do the Junior Mustangs try and blitz here? As I think a
Well,
timeout's being called on the field by the Ravens, and it is.
Yeah, well, they had 3 running backs in the backfield to set up that play, so it looked like they were going to have a bit of a power formation and pound the ball, which I suspect you're going to have to do if you want to get yards on the ground against the Junior Mustangs. So they saw something they didn't like, obviously, or someone was in the wrong spot. So we'll see what they fix up and what they come out with.
I mentioned earlier how the Ravens have faced a lot of adversity in the postseason, winning over the Burlington Stampeders by 3, 29-26, then just coming off of a 1-point thriller over the Durham Dolphins, 28-27.
And that was the last play of the game rouge down in Pickering in that game.
The most Canadian way to end a football game ever, Mr. McKay.
It sure is. It means red, as we know, but yeah.
Actually, did you know this? Because I've called a football game in Quebec. Do you know what they call it in Quebec? A single. They don't use the term rouge.
Is that right?
It's only the Anglophones or whatever you'd call them that uses the Quebec terminology.
Why would they call it a red? Yeah, that was.
When I did the term rouge, I had literally people from Quebec looking at me, Donnie, like, what are you talking about? That's a single. And I went, well, why are you using an English word and I'm using the French one?
Yeah, that's ironic, isn't it? I know Ben Castleman and the Durham Dolphins were absolutely devastated.
Yeah,
they had them pinned deep
at
with 1 minute and change to go, and Essex drove the field. Got down to the 3-yard line on the last play of the game, was able to kick it out for that 1 point to get here this weekend.
So sort of a double fake handoff and then being crushed behind the line of scrimmage. I don't really know what Kevin Rakowska was supposed to do there.
Yeah, it looks like the running back went to the wrong side. He was looking to hand it off, but the running back went away from the handoff side, and he was on his own.
And here comes Nate Rochello after sitting the previous plays off. The QB wearing number 5 for the Ravens after taking that huge hit from Thompson earlier in the game.
Well, you know what? There was some miscommunication, and you could tell that the backup quarterback wasn't quite as experienced with what the play calling was. So, yeah, you had to get him back in there. He may not throw a ball for a few plays, but at least he'll hand up ball off on the right side and probably control the offense the way they want him to. They're going to that 4-by-1 set again with 34 out here isolated on his own.
Looks like a blitz coming by the Junior Mustangs.
The
delayed handoff this time opens up a field to the left side, and they're going to pick up 7 yards. Not a bad gander by Ryan Connolly.
Yeah, they ran that once already in the first quarter, just that delayed draw. It's just an inside zone draw play where you try and get the defenders upfield and just hand the ball off inside with 4 defenders past the ball carrier so you can try and just get a few yards, and they do.
Ryan Connolly's been a pretty good bread and butter sandwich out of the backfield for the Ravens. Nothing fancy, but he's getting the job done.
Yep.
It looks like for the second time today at midfield, the Ravens are going to punt this one away. I said offense sells you tickets. Well, you had a team that put up 233 points, taking on a team that's 146 points, and yet they've combined for 6 points in this game, Coach.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to let the quarterback throw the ball just yet because of his arm. So they're going to punt it away, play it safe, and unfortunately, that was not a great punt.
Well, you know, Murphy's Law, the second that ball was snapped, you could feel the southwestern breeze come across the TD field. Alumni field, I should say. And as a result, well, great field positioning here for the Junior Mustangs, the 37-yard line. But with 7:06 remaining here in the opening half, is it safe to say they got to get points before halftime?
Yeah, I think they need to build some momentum here. And once the purple train gets rolling, I think they're going to be tough to stop. So Essex has done a great job preventing that to this point, but I think it's time for some momentum.
So out of the pro set, looks like Manning's the trailer. He's going to move over to the right side. Fonte protected in the pocket, taking a shot deep. Has a man off the fingertips, though.
Yeah.
There was a momentary lapse of judgment, but Machado had a chance at the ball. I thought that the Ravens, though, were going to breathe an interception.
Yeah, it just looks like the wide receiver stopped running. That ball was well thrown, actually, and 24 just sort of was running a streak and didn't quite get enough speed running into that ball. Machado, he needed to keep those legs pumping a little bit faster, a little bit further, and he would have run underneath that ball and taken it for 6, but just out of reach. 9
touchdowns thrown by DJ Fonte to 8 different targets. Machado had 2 touchdowns as a result from the regular season. 2nd and 10. Fonte slings this one out to the left side. This one's received. It's the yards after the catch that's the concern for Koven Stakoviak.
Yeah, so yeah, that's right. Playing the slot, they're just running him up for a little nickel and dime offense. Just ran into the open zone and secures the ball for a nice little 5-yard gain, but not enough for a first down. Coven's a Banting Bronco, I should have you know.
Oh, yeah, you're going to throw that in there. By the way, he had 9 receptions in the regular season, 132 yards and 2 touchdowns. But I will say this, they're missing their number 1 receiver, in my opinion, named Camden Melrose, who got injured with a collarbone injury.
Yeah, early in the season, they've been missing him for sure. He was touted to be one of the best receivers in the league this year, but...
Beautiful punt set down to the 40 by Fonte, and that's where the Ravens are going to start back as, well, not much of a return that time from Stephen Cranner.
No, it was a good kick, actually. They didn't keep it in the air long enough for the returner to have a good time to set up and go, so it stumbled on the turf a little bit, and that gave the Junior Mustang cover team time to get down, surround the ball, and make an easy tackle.
So I mentioned the adversity that the Essex Ravens have faced the last couple weeks in the postseason. The Junior Mustangs, not as much. They're coming off of a 33-15 victory over the Cumberland Panthers. That was at Millennium Turf, where they had to be the Road Warriors.
Yeah.
And previously they beat the Myers Riders by 22 points, 28-6. Now here's Malachi going deep, almost had the one-hand grab.
Great.
He was just harassed enough by Smith.
Yeah, great coverage. Number 1 definitely had better coverage on that play. He's given him a little bit more room, a little bit more respect. He gave him a little jam down the field. You know, a referee could have called a little contact on that, but they let it go and let the 2 athletes fight it downfield.
I like when they let the players play.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
and something that not just from this game, but I noticed the entire weekend the officials have been doing a masterful job in representing the sport at its highest level.
Yeah, the officials in Ontario, in this region in particular, are very good. So we're fortunate to have them. And you know what? When they let the players play, it certainly makes a difference in the flow of the game.
A shot deep, almost intercepted, and Rochello's down again, my friend, as it was Silcox, I apologize, with the potential interception. Rochello down back at the 30. And, you know, the first time he was down, Coach, I agreed with you where it was like, no, it's going to take hell or high water not to get this kid back into this game. The second lick, though, you got to start worrying about his health and safety.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah, if you don't want that injury to impact and compound on each other. If we can get another look at that play and take a look how he went down, I have a feeling it was the same way. It was just out of the frame of the shot.
After the release, yeah.
After the release, not quite the same mechanism as the first one.
No,
but
I mean, the Thomas hit, I hate to say this because you never want to say it when a player gets hit. That was a thing of beauty. A great defensive play and a clean hit. That may have been a half second late. The officials, you know, they said it was clean, though, and they're the closer ones to the play.
Yeah, well, this one again, he sort of had the ball just off the fingertips. He was just off balance, and the linebacker came through the middle and just sort of put his shoulder pads into him. And again, we missed the end of the tail end of that play on the frame. But my guess is he went into the turf the same way again, and I'm sure he's re-injured the same shoulder. So now Essex has to be concerned.
Well, yeah, because their main offense so far in this game have been those deep balls thrown to Malachi Jackson and the 24-yard TD toss from Rochello, which took place with 2:47 remaining in the opening quarter to Liam Havinga. And to make, you know, a little salt in the wound there, they missed that PAT. Why is that so huge? Because 2 field goals tie this game up. A touchdown gives you a chance to take the lead.
Yeah, and you can tell that their offense is going to be off their game now. And you know, Essex has been successful in getting the ball out of the box, in the air or wide. So that's hard to do without a experienced quarterback and a quality quarterback on the field.
And he's been their leader over this 10-0 streak. Mm-hmm. They have not lost a single game here in 2022. Yeah. And, you know, no slouch are the London Junior Mustangs. They're technically 9-1, yes, but their only loss came on a forfeiture back on July 9th. They've never lost playing the sport of football either in 2022.
Yeah, and I don't think either team's taken either team for granted, so I don't think any of that those stats are in anyone's head. But I can tell you Essex is going to be concerned about the health of their quarterback right now.
Fake punt! The fake punt, and they're running over to the far sideline. No, you will not, sir! Denied by Thompson in the backfield. It's a turnover on downs, A mammoth play and a true head-scratcher if you're a Ravens fan. You just saw your star quarterback go down. You think you would want to play the field positioning game to the best of your ability.
Yeah, well, sometimes it's easier said than done when you get in there as a punter and all of a sudden you have pressure like from Lee Miller coming at you to pressure you. You know, sometimes you just get a little tight. You take the ball and you go.
5:17 remains here in the second quarter. Is it safe to say it's now or never for the Mustangs offense?
Now's their time. I think you're going to see a lot of pressure put on them now, and even defensively, they get back on the field. They're going to be bringing the house, and field position's going to be one.
Fonte rolling out, has an open target. This one's caught. He was on a knee. It's good enough for the first down, though, and once again, that's Breuer in on the reception.
Yep, they just found the soft zone in the middle of the field and made a nice play, just getting it to the receiver in the open seam.
Breuer, 7 catches during the regular season, 70 yards, but no touchdown. Man, oh man, the first one in a championship game would feel good.
You don't have to be a star, but you know what? When you're contributing and getting first downs, boy, that's almost as good as a touchdown.
Ball at the 25. This is the deepest the Junior Mustangs have marched all game. Manning out of the backfield, trying to shrug off of a tackle. I think it'll still go as a tackle for loss, Coach, but it could have been worse if it wasn't for the muscle of Manning.
Yeah, they're running a counter play on that. They were hoping that they would follow the fullback to the right side, and they run the counter to the left. But Essex linebackers read the pulling guard tackle, which are kind of hard to miss because they're mammoth young men, and they were in on the play. Willie Black leading the charge, the lead block there.
4 minutes remains in this second quarter of action. The Junior Varsity Championship here from London, Ontario. Fonte once again over to that right side now. The original target that was hit earlier, and Breuer was there as well as Stachowiak, but, well, it kind of sandwiched between the two. Incomplete pass.
Yeah, you know what? And he was open. I mean, his corner defender was off at least 5 yards, so if he could have got it in there, it would have been a nice gain.
Now, with the breeze in their face, gusts up to 27 kilometers an hour, it looks like they're not going for an attempted field goal. They're going to go for it on 3rd and long, Coach.
Yeah, well, field position's in their favor. They got a long field. They know their Essex quarterback's hurt, so they're going to take a shot here and try and create some momentum.
Fonte stutters out to the left side, being hunted down. Looks like Fonte's going to go for a run. He's going to run out of real estate, though. Hammered by the bird's nest of Ravens. Turnover on downs at the 24-yard line.
Yeah, that was a nice play by Essex. That quarterback was hoping that he'd be free, but number 48 was chasing after him. 46 was chasing after him, and then their halfback stepped up to take any options of throws away from him. So the quarterback just didn't have time to set and throw there. So he tucked the ball, and Essex was now on the beat to get him.
I'm still kind of shaking my head over the decision there, Coach. I think you take the points when the game's going to give them to you, especially early in the football game.
Yeah, well, I think the Junior Mustangs saw something with the quarterback going down again. You know, long field, 3 minutes left in the half.
Yeah, but not to be devil's advocate with you, Rochello's not on the field right now, though, Coach. I mean, you take the points, you get closer back into the game.
Well, I think they're going to plan on winning the game of field position now. I suspect Junior Mustangs are going to send some heat and some pressure. Again, disrupted play.
Oh, no.
They tried to run an inside zone. The quarterback turns the wrong way, or the running back goes the wrong way.
It's Davis in on the tackle. The defensive lineman broke right through the seam. And you got to feel a little bad at that time for Kevin Rakowska. I think that's the second play where he looked to his left, and, well, there's nobody to his left.
Yeah, and if I had Liam Davis running after me, I'd definitely tuck the ball and go down. My son's played hockey with him over the years, and he's no small lad either.
Awesome to hear the multiple sport athletes, too.
Yeah, a lot of these guys, that's the beauty of football. I mean, when I recruit kids out of the halls in high school, I want kids that have played other sports. And you know what, hockey, baseball, soccer, it doesn't matter. If you've played other sports, there's a place for you on the football field.
We've passed the 3-minute warning here in this 2022 Junior Varsity Championship game.
He's got a seam.
A seam through the middle for Deuces. He breaks through a hole. He needed 16 yards, and he got more than that here. Ball's up to the 42-yard line. What a play yet again by Ryan Connolly.
Yeah, that just looked like a simple inside zone run. I'll take a look at that again quick. And, just an inside zone, and he took it up, and the Western defenders weren't around, and he just got one seam past the first level, and he was gone.
White uniforms folding up like cheap summer lawn chairs on that last play, Coach.
That or laundry. Yeah, I don't think the coaches on the sideline will be happy with their defense on that one. They had them pinned, and they won that game of field position. They were in a good spot. So,
and from my memory, which isn't always the best, Coach, but that's just the second big rushing play of the game by the Ravens.
That's right. Washington hasn't given up too much.
Low snap, handled by the QB. He's going to handle it himself, sandwiched by a couple Stangs, and he picks up maybe 2 yards on the play.
Again, that's what's expected. But you know what? That's the whole idea of the inside zone. I mean, you're just trying to sort of like lull the defense to sleep, get them sort of thinking one thing and come, from a different direction. That time the quarterback just kept it and took it up the field.
See, they do have on their depth chart number 16, Aiden Britton, labeled as a quarterback, yet number 20 seems to be at the helm right now. That's Kevin Rakowska on our depth chart.
My guess is that he's going to be taking the ball and doing a lot of running himself for the next little while.
Oh, maybe a West Coast Wildcat
offense?
A
little Wildcat option,
right, I like it.
Get your best athlete the ball is basically the game plan. Is that number 34 in the backfield right now?
Correct.
It is, so you know what?
Sorry, that's Ryan Connolly again.
Yep.
No, and then they end up handing it off to 33 to your credit, Coach, and that is actually Dominic McKeezy again, the slot back, the second time we've actually called his name today, and there's a flag on the field. This is a big call with 1:37 remaining here in the second quarter.
Yeah, Essex isn't doing anything fancy inside. They're just trying to block man-to-man and, just, again, try and let the running back try and find that seam up the inside, but... Oh, there's a
unnecessary roughness. It costs them the first down and moves the ball all the way up to the 51-yard line on their side of the turf.
Yeah, that UR is 15, and you don't want too many of those. I think in this league, 2 URs by player, you're out.
Want to take a moment to thank our Football Ontario partners for this weekend, which include the Western Mustangs, the London Junior Mustangs, the London Beefeaters, the Forest City Thunderbirds, holler at the Thunderbirds, and all of the other teams for making this inaugural Summer Cup a success. I got to thank the entire Junior Mustangs crew, all you crazy fellows from our producers and the Melroses to our camera crew to put it all together. As Ryan Connolly hangs on to that hash mark, Coach, and he got maybe 13 yards, first down, Ravens.
Yep, Junior Mustangs just came a little too far upfield again, and they just chipped off the D tackle that got too far upfield and found that inside seam again. I think the Junior Mustangs are going to have to just be a little bit conservative up front. It's nice to get pressure in the backfield and tackle for a loss, but sometimes being too over-aggressive isn't to your benefit.
You and I are on the same page thinking that this offense was going to go a little stagnant without Nate Rochello, and yet now it's starting to cook with grease.
Yep.
Play action, he hangs on to it. I don't know if that was the right call, as he does get tackled for a loss.
Yeah, if the Junior Mustangs can keep playing a gap control defense, just sort of maintaining their gaps and letting the running backs come to them and plugging all those holes, they'll be fine. But once you send one too many guys too far upfield and you create a seam, that's where the Essex Ravens have been getting their yards.
Scale of 1 to 10, how much would another Ravens touchdown in the next minute and 8 seconds hurt the Junior Mustangs?
Well, you're going into the change room at halftime down 13. That would hurt a lot. So, yeah, they're going to try and keep them off the board here at the end of the first half.
It's about a 7.
Yeah.
Okay. The Wildcat continues here. Another dose of Ryan Connolly. He refuses to go down, and then he's eventually ripped
there you go.
to the 35.
Now what do you do as the Essex Ravens?
I attempt the field goal here, but yet anytime I've been thinking that, the teams have been doing the opposite.
Right. They got about they're on the 35-yard line, so that would give you about a 45, just under a 45-yard field goal. They have the wind in their favor, but it looks like they're going to go for it. They're not bringing on anyone for the field goal.
A big defensive play for the Junior Mustangs, which was number 1 in the league, only allowing 39 points all regular season long.
Well, I know I would have my defenders deep here.
Out of the gun, it's a pitch to Ryan Connolly. He had to catch it behind him. Smothered in the backfield. Turnover on downs at the 37-yard line.
Yeah, that was a nice play by the Junior Mustangs to smother that for sure. But, I mean, your options are limited. If you're at that field position, you want to put the ball in the air. You're not going to fool the Junior Mustangs on a toss to the outside when they're so good at defending the run. But without your starting quarterback, I mean, your options there are limited. So, to me, that was a bit of a bad call. I would have gone for the 3 points there.
I mentioned the 39 points that the Junior Mustangs defense stymied their oppositions with. To put that in perspective, Coach, that includes a game where they won 34-26 against the Hamilton Junior Tiger Cats, and the 6 points is included in that official 6-0 loss in the forfeiture to the Essex Ravens. So really, they've only given up 33 points on actual football.
Yeah, that's where you want to take the points where you can get it.
Spinning off of a tackle, getting a couple yards here is Roberts. Again, Roberts, that kind of second or third head of the Hydra. Matt Snyder, the head coach of the London team, has in his backfield.
Yeah, number 5, the slot back, Coven, just sort of missed and gaffed on his, whiffed on his block there, which allowed the halfback to come up and get first contact on that ball carrier.
So it appears London's just trying to be safe with the pigskin here and get into the halftime break, just down by the one possession, 6-0.
Yep, not a bad play. Get into the change room, regroup, draw some adjustments up, and then come out and be ready for the second half. I think the second half plan is going to be, hey, their quarterback is hurting if he's on or if he's not on.
Fonte takes a knee, and that does it for 2 quarters of football here from Western University, located in London, Ontario. It's the Ontario Summer Football League 2022 Junior Varsity A Championship. And the Essex Ravens, who have flown into town from the beautiful city of Windsor, Ontario, have a 6-0 lead at halftime, thanks to a 24-yard TD pass to Liam Havinga with 2:47 remaining in the opening quarter. However, the PAT was missed, and add further to the drama, Nate Rochello, who did a beautiful pump fake to open up the sea for Liam Havinga for that 24-yard hookup, didn't get just hit once, he got hit twice, and it appears like he may not come back in the second half.
Well, his pads are off, he's got ice on the shoulder there, and he looks like he's taped up pretty good, so I would be very surprised if we saw him in the second half. And you know what, for the long-term health of him as a quarterback in his future endeavors, I would think that is a smart idea. But it's definitely going to change the game plan for the Junior Mustangs going into halftime here.
So 2 adjustments before we go off to the halftime, Coach, that I want to get your thoughts on. 1, defensively for the Mustangs. Now, with Rochello potentially out of the game, that maybe does fix those deep ball threats because Rochello was throwing bombs left, right, and center. However, I want you to try and fix, paraphrasing here, the Junior Mustangs offense, which has been shut out over 2 quarters of play. An offense that produced 233 points in the regular season, number 1 in the division, number 2 in the entire league.
Well, you're right. I mean, at halftime, what I would have told my defensive backs, I would have taken them aside and just said, hey, listen, remember what your job is. Do not get beat deep, and they would have been fine. But this is going to be taken care of with Rochello out. Now the Junior Mustangs are probably going to stack the box a little bit more. They'll probably bring an extra defender down low and just start to play that run and watch that gashing up inside. They're not getting outside on the ground. They're getting up inside. Offensively, you know what? The Junior Mustangs are doing okay. They just got to get their power game going inside on the ground and then just keep doing what they're doing. The receivers are getting open. They're finding the soft zone. The quarterback just has to not rush it, set his feet, and secure the pass to the receiver, and they're going to start to gain some yards.
For Coach McKay, I'm Jonathan Urbanowicz. This is OSFL Championship Football live on Junior Mustangs TV. Thanks for joining us all around the world, and don't forget to hit the like and subscribe buttons. Welcome back to the Forest City here on your Sunday afternoon. It's more football history presented by Junior Mustangs TV, the channel on YouTube that presented the OFC two-time defending champion London Beefeaters, eSports Gaming, London Women's Flag Football Championships, as well as, any other kind of pigskin you could possibly imagine. But here we are. It's the Junior Varsity A Championship. They saved the best for last, as they like to say, and they certainly have here. It's a 4:30 p.m. kickoff between the Ravens and the Junior Mustangs. We're currently at 5:45. We're halfway through this contest, and imagine that. Two teams that combined for, 379 points combined, have combined for all of 6 points over 2 quarters of play, Coach.
Yeah, when you get two lions facing off against each other, they may dominate in their own little section of the jungle, but when they come together, it's a standoff, and we got a heck of a football game here today.
Well, and just to list the body count, if you will, for both these two teams, the Junior Mustangs, 64-0 over the Waterloo Predators, 59-0 over the Chad Kent Cougars, 61-0 over the Etobicoke Eagles, 41-0 over the Niagara Spears, 63-7 over the Brantford Bisons, 34-0 over the Cambridge Lions. Those are some of the dominant performances here in 2022. For the Ravens, no slouches themselves. 49-0 over the Peel Panthers, 48-0 over the Niagara Spears, 42-0 over the Brantford Bisons, and 30-6 over the Niagara Spears again. However, I'd say over the last month or so, they've actually faced more adversity, especially in the postseason, winning over the Burlington Stampeders by 3 and coming off of just a 1-point thriller over the Durham Dolphins and the most Canadian play in all of football, the Rouge. So you go back to that adage of, a little adversity can sharpen your knife, Coach. Does that help the Ravens in this second half of football?
Well, I'm not sure if it's going to help them or not, to be honest with you. Yeah, I know the league has a bit of there was a bit of concern about some of the teams that were playing each other to produce these scores, right? So you don't play a lot of competition early in the season, but now when you get some adversity against another good team, it makes for some either sloppy or...
That's off the fingertips, and it's a live ball. Who's got it? They're going to say it's Junior Mustangs pigskin.
Yep. And that's a pretty smart play actually in itself, just sort of trying to catch the Junior Mustangs sleeping after the first half, coming into the second half, because they know they want to create some momentum. So they're trying to steal some back before they get it going.
Machado's had a tough first half of action after a couple drops from his quarterback and DJ Fonte. However, that's a massive play to start this second half to keep the ball in their possession.
Yeah, that would have been a game changer to start the second half for sure. But now the J-Stangs has the ball, and the quarterback goes under center.
Yeah, right behind the line of center. They're going to push it over to the big man, and, they're going to rumble for 2 or 3 yards to that right hash.
Yeah, they're looking for a quick hitter to Potter, and he's a bit of a load too, so not a crazy play actually. It was just a straight drive blocking play where they're just trying to a quick dive up inside, and the Essex Ravens were ready for it. Sometimes you can catch a defense sleeping if they're not quite ready. They're expecting something else. You run quick up under center and get a quick snap, and you know what? You might even get 5 to 10 yards. If you find a seam, you could be gone.
2nd and 7 play. You see Coven actually moving over to that right side. It's a handoff to Manning, who boosts over to that right side. He's tackled for a loss behind the line of scrimmage. Great job by the Raven and Ethan Matei. I believe that's the 2nd or 3rd time we've said Matei's name on a big play.
Yeah, the defensive lineman just actually was able to get outside of Big Willie Black on that to pursue the ball, and Willie couldn't get the block on him, and took him right to the running back.
You run the ball constantly on first down. You don't get a lot of yards. You go back to the well on second down, and just like that, it's a 3 and out here. Less than a minute and 30 seconds into the half.
Yeah, I mean, again, Junior Mustangs, I'm sure, were running the ball at will all season, and now they're facing off against a defensive line that can push back and,
Look at this booming kick from Fonte all the way down to the 25-yard line. The kick returner shed a couple tackles and, got a little something out of nothing on that play as he got it back up to the 28.
Yeah, that was a huge kick, and the Junior Mustangs were able to get coverage down there fast. The Essex Ravens, one thing they do is when they pressure the kicker, they allow all of the punt team to stream downfield. So if you're not blocking that ball, you've got about 6 Junior Mustangs players around the ball carrier when he catches it, and he's not getting many yards.
As a fellow radio guy, you loving all these replays? You're not going to get that in the other booth, partner.
I like these replays, yeah. Yeah.
It's a fun little
video doesn't lie. I always tell my players.
It's a nice layer to the onion that the Junior Mustangs TV puts in. Now here's 4 weapons to the right
and
side.
And again, they're isolating that backside receiver.
They go to the left side, and they're going to say this one's caught.
Yep.
No. Yes, right at the 55-yard line. And guess who? Malachi Jackson. I think I'm losing fingers on my one hand for how many plays he's had in this game.
Yeah, and I don't think the cornerback Smith was expecting that. I mean, they've run the 4x1 all day today and trying to isolate that backside receiver with the corner. And I don't think they were expecting a throw like that from their quarterback.
Well, and Malachi Smith had the size advantage on the DB in Smith for the London Junior Mustangs, and pretty much, I don't want to say Randy mossed him, but jumped the ball.
He certainly did, and they're going back to him again. That ball was up there a long time. It wasn't a pretty ball, but he came down with it, so let's see if they do the same thing.
So watch that coverage on the far side. Blitz is coming. Now Malachi Jackson
Yeah.
fell, and then a cheap shot at the end of the play is going to cost them yards.
Yeah, number 1 gave him a shove in the back when the ball was not going to get caught. The receiver slipped and fell, and the ball went by him, and that push was completely unnecessary.
And to make matters worse, I'm sure you've experienced it. It happened 5 feet in front of his head coach, which turns to him and goes, "You know what? There's a bench for you right there."
Yeah, I mean, he's a good player, but not too good that if he's going to be starting to pull plays like that when you have them where you want them. He's going to ride the pine for a bit.
We go from the 55 to the 45 in Stangs territory.
And here they go. They're back at it again, 4x1. So they're isolating 34 on the boundary side of the field.
If it ain't broke,
don't fix it.
From the gun. Delayed handoff, and well, the Mustangs get to this one at the line of scrimmage. Man, oh man, how impressed have you been, though, Coach, in the second half of play with the way Kevin Rakowska has filled in for the star QB, Nate Rochello?
Yeah, you know what? I got to give him credit. I figured he'd be handing the ball off the rest of the afternoon.
So did I.
But you know what? He threw, again, it was a bit of a rainbow, and I don't think the cornerback was quite ready for it. But, he stepped in there and shown some confidence.
But the right play and the right player at the right time.
All right, now the 3x1 with 2 running backs in the backfield.
Watch out on the near side here for Emmanuel Pettit. He's wearing 25. Instead, it's a handoff, and reading it like a coloring book and getting in there like a freight train is number 83, and Gower, the defensive lineman.
Yeah, he just shot that gap and went straight into the backfield and impaled the running back with his helmet in the chest. It was a great play. And every once in a while, you get a little bit lucky and time it up right. The right play against the right call on the offensive side of the ball, and you get a tackle for a loss.
Now remember, in the second half of play, the London Junior Mustangs were within field goal range, down 6-0. They elected to go for it. They fell short with a DJ Fonte run. And now, with a 3rd and long, it's the Ravens going to go for it. Yeah. That looked like a blatant hold to me. Instead, there's an interception by the Junior Mustangs. Pulling away with the pigskin, past the 35, past the 40, past the 50 to the 55. Turning the ball over into the jaws of the Junior Mustangs. It's Nichols, the DB.
Yeah, that was a nice play. He just sort of stepped underneath the receiver. It was thrown to the middle of the field on looks like a post play, and the DB just stepped underneath the post route, which luckily it wasn't thrown over his head, but was able to undercut the receiver, catch the ball for an interception, and rumble it back a number of yards for a first down, Junior Mustangs.
See, back in the day, I was called the wild card. You should go for it on every play. Now I feel like I'm a conservative Kathy up in this booth because I'm going, well, wait a minute, why didn't they just punt there?
Yeah, well, I don't think their punter has proven that he's capable of a lot of yards right now. So.
Manning trying to get some separation, sheds 1 tackle, and, well, gets up to the 50-yard line, we'll say, for a gain of 4 yards.
Yeah, that was just a power. We call that power queen around here. That's just where they lead around a kick block the end with the slot back coming across the formation and run it up inside.
Looking towards the Western Mustangs Training Center building, you see both the Essex Ravens and the London Junior Mustangs of the varsity variety starting to creep out onto the field.
They're going for a warm-up, but I don't think it's going to take very long. And here's where you want to manage your team well. You don't want to be warming up too long and too much because this heat's going to take a lot of energy out of you.
Going deep, and he can't find Stakoviak. It was pretty much a one-on-two play down that far right side. Do you like them taking the shot there long on 3rd and 6? Well, it was 2nd and 6, I should say.
Yeah, well, every once in a while you catch a DB sleeping, but in this case they were covered up in zero coverage, man coverage very tight, and all the receivers were not catching that ball.
Time is of the essence. Yes, there's 6:38 remaining in the third quarter, but we only have one score on the board. It came all the way back with 2:47 remaining in the opening quarter of play. That's when Nate Rochello, the starting QB for the Ravens, hooked up with Liam Havinga for a 24-yard hookup.
Yeah, 35 steps up to the line late. That could have been a flag if he didn't get up there.
Fonte does get this one away. It sends the returner and Ryan Connolly back to the 15-yard line. He dances around one tackle, smothered at the 20.
Yeah, again, the Junior Mustangs are running free down the field. The Essex Ravens are not doing much of a job covering the punt. They're busy getting after it, and if they were smart, they'd pick up a shoulder of the Junior Mustangs off the line and not let them stream downfield to the returner like that.
And it might give Ryan Connolly, who's been masterful out of the backfield for his quarterbacks, a chance to do some damage on the kick return.
Yep. I'd set up a return if I was Essex, but they seem intent on trying to go for the block, and they don't really get close to getting there at all.
So the battle of field positioning, how crucial will it be for Essex to at least get to midfield on this drive to not allow the Junior Mustangs an opportunity to flip the script in the second half?
Yeah, they're going to want to try and keep the momentum going here. And
beautiful dance out of the backfield. Oh, he takes a hit, though. The ball came loose, but the referee right away says, no. He made contact with the turf first. It maintains Essex possession.
Yeah, the quarterback saw that DB coming up fast, and he just sort of spun out of the way and spun to the turf, and the turf caused the ball to come out. Had he not spun out of the way, though, that would have been another highlight hit.
Yeah, that time he just got off the train tracks. As we saw, unfortunately, Nate Rochello not just take one huge hit from Thompson, but it was a hit later in the game after already coming back from a potential injury. But the second time, Rochello could not come back.
Well, again, here's that 4x1, and they're isolating 34 on the backside. Oh, but they run an inside zone.
So given their position on the field, they try and play safe on the run. However, going off of the history with Malachi Jackson and how he's already burned Smith on that far side, I am shocked, just like you are, that they didn't go back to that well again.
Yeah, and they had number one, the corner up isolated on that ex-receiver. And, he's beaten him over top a number of times, even with a badly thrown ball. So what they haven't done well is run the ball inside. So I'm surprised they didn't take another shot downfield.
Something that's just so much more imperative in the Canadian version of the game, field positioning.
Yeah.
And right now, with 5:05 remaining in the third quarter, despite the fact that they are down by 6, a massive changing of the guard here as far as field positioning is concerned.
Yeah, I wonder if Weston's going to bring some pressure.
They're going to go for the
safety. That's a smart play. That punter doesn't have a strong leg, and he was not going to put that ball very far out of the end zone.
But making it a little more theatrical was Dresden Howe. Remember, Howe had a heck of a punt earlier in this game, pinning the Junior Mustangs within their 20. Here being within his own 20, goes, well, you know what, I got to get to the back of my end zone. However, he made it a little more theatrical than he needed to there, Coach, when you think he only has to take 2 steps onto the purple turf, take a knee, whistle goes, 2 points on the board. However, what he tried to do was run to the far sidelines, and I mean barely, just barely, Zaire, the linebacker, almost was able to rip the pigskin loose at the back of the end zone.
Yeah, you got to be cautious. I know they always watch the CFL and NFLers dance around the end zone, try and take some time off the clock. That's not really a concern at this point.
Not in the third quarter.
Just secure the ball, get into the end zone, get it down, turn the ball over, and, get back at it.
St. Andre Bissett will love the game that we broadcasted at Citywide many years ago where they were...
The snowy one?
Yes, we were there. We broadcast. I had the call, and they had, 7 seconds left on the board on a third down play, and they said, we'll just run the clock out. Smart play.
Yep.
Unfortunately, the quarterback ran 6 of the 7 seconds off and ran 38 yards backwards, allowing STA the field goal to tie the game up.
Yeah, that hurts.
Manning receiving this pass. A 7-yard gain, not getting it done on the ground. It's Manning on the reception this time.
Yeah, that was a nice little play. They just swung him out of the backfield and tried to catch the Ravens in zone coverage, so no one was going to be on him necessarily. He caught it in space and made a few nice yards.
So going back to that Bulldogs play, arguably the worst ever time management play I have ever seen in my entire life of any brand of football. However, you never know when those moments can happen.
You're right. It can happen anytime. I remember watching that.
Well, thanks for tuning in. As two go to the line, it's Fonte, another handoff.
Oh.
Now they had success in the air with Manning. They go to the ground, and the Ravens stymie it here, Coach. They're going to say he lost a yard.
Yeah, they were. He was trying to follow in behind Potter, the fullback, except the Ravens defender got into the ends or the backfield a little bit quick. He shot the gap. They just ran an inside zone with the lead fullback, and the D tackle shot into the backfield and was able to get the running back.
Is it time to be concerned, though, if you're a London football fan, knowing that, again, this is a team that put up, 233 points in the regular season? They've put up only 2 points. Those are self-inflicted wounds by the Ravens in this game.
Well, you hope that the sideline is calm under pressure, and is just sort of settling their boys down.
They didn't listen to you.
Nope.
Instead, they went right after the punter and Fonte again. Didn't
Yep.
allow Malachi Jackson, though, instead of Ryan Connolly on the return this occasion, up to the 33.
Yep, and again, there was 3 or 4 white jerseys around the returner, not giving them much room to move whatsoever.
And as a returner, I mean, you just need that runway like an airplane, either to your left, to your right, or up the middle. But if you're not given that original real estate to turn on the burners, you never get free.
And the Junior Mustangs are figuring it out. I mean, no Essex Ravens going to a shoulder, and so they're just immediate releasing, and they're all staying in their lanes, which gives the returner no room to run whatsoever. But you're right. All you need is one Raven on one shoulder to create one seam for the returner to break one, and it's not there. So they're back to the 4x1.
I was just going to say, this is sort of the Coach McKay special, we'll call it.
Yeah.
They're going to hang on to the ball as the quarterback, but I don't know if I agree with that play, as it ends up costing Kevin Rakowska a couple yards.
Yeah, that was just a 13-zipper. The quarterback kept inside zone and hoping to catch the Junior Mustangs following the running back, and the quarterback, able to find a seam on the backside. But they're playing an improvised 30 front. It was really 5 linemen on the line of scrimmage. There's not a lot of room for any quarterback to be sneaking through anything.
This 4-1 front, though, we saw the damage it could do earlier in this game with Malachi Jackson, and we've seen Rakowska actually have success with this play in the air. However, a lot of smoke and mirrors, a lot of makeup on the pig, so to speak, right now, Coach, with that 4-1 front. Are they hiding that big play for later on again?
Well, the reason you run a 4x1, meaning 4 receivers on one side and 1 on the other side, is you're trying to get defenders out of the box. So you have at least 5 defenders that are out of the box and try and have some room inside. But this defensive front with the Junior Mustang is just a little too strong to work that. And again, they go back to the inside zone again. And this time there was 3 defenders in the backfield smothering the ball carrier. So again, I think the Junior Mustangs is just going to try and keep things under control and just say, hey, just stay with the process, grind it out, and we'll be okay. And let's hope that was a good example of that on that series.
Well, 2nd and 11 turned into 3rd and 13. The play to Donovan Osmond went nowhere, and it looks like the punting unit has come out again. And all the hype, if you will, all the theatrics from the announcers like me, hey, it's going to be DJ Fonte, it's going to be Nate Rochello. It's been the punters in this game so far.
Yep, they're
a low punt. Trying to handle it. Somehow he got it away. That would have been huge. It still goes out of bounds, but regardless, Coach, if a bear paw got on that pigskin, that would have been damage.
Yeah, it looked like they almost had a receiver onside on that punt, so which would tell you that they want to try and sneak a kick to their own player, but he ended up moving forward before the ball was actually kicked, so it wouldn't have been. It was a short rugby kick, and that's what we've expected from this punter all game.
I want to give a big shout out to Quest Awards. They've specialized in high products and quality, patented plaques, corporate awards, sports awards, promotional items, giftware, utilizing the power and preciousness, or precision, I guess I should read, the laser engraving and advanced computer technology, as we'll get back to that in a moment. It's DJ Fonte looking to go deep. Manning, did he reel it in? They're going to say he caught it. Interesting, because a couple Ravens on the near side, from their perspective, thought he trapped it off the turf. I thought he reeled it in.
It looked good from up here. He seemed to have his body between the ball and the turf. We're going to go to the replay one more time to take a look at that. The referee on this side of the field did not have an angle on it.
He catches that ball. He does a
good
job of turning his body underneath the ball as he was rolling over on it. Now a jet sweep to Manning to the right side. Manning cutting it at the 15 up to the 10, pushing forward up to the 8. It's a first down for the Junior Mustangs, and they're rumbling in the red zone now, baby.
Yeah, that's a nice play. You know, with the Essex Ravens committing so much beef up front inside the box, why not get the ball outside with that jet sweep with a W? We're sweeping around the boundary side, and they have some space once they got to the edge. That was well blocked by the offensive lineman of the Junior Mustangs.
By the way, shouts out again to Quest Awards. Not only did I mess up your promo, but you're a great producer of quality championship awards. As they're going to fake the jet sweep, it's Fonte keeping it, but nowhere to go as the brick house of Dresden Howe comes down.
Yeah, they actually had this fake worked, actually, and the offensive lineman just missed the block on his defensive end, which allowed him to get upfield and shut that play down when the quarterback tried to sneak it around to the opposite side.
So a 6-2 ball game, not necessarily the usual football score you would see in a championship game.
There's been a lot of low-scoring games against Black and White here over the years. Waterloo and Weston have put some low-scoring games on the clock over the last 20 years.
Fonte towards the end zone.
Oh, there's a flag.
Did he hang on to the ball? Touchdown, Junior Mustangs! Holy cannoli! What a catch by the man, the myth, the legend, Camden Melrose. Welcome to Melrose Place.
Great.
The first touchdown of the game by London.
Great play. The receiver caught the ball. It was starting to fumble. He trapped it against his helmet. I think we've seen that before in a Super Bowl, if you recall, and was able to maintain possession for the touchdown. What a remarkable catch by the receiver.
Camden Melrose bringing it in. What a year it's been for Camden Melrose of highs and lows, facing adversity, battling injuries. He comes back into the championship dance, and he's doing some damage at the tail end of the third quarter. What a way to get onto the board as Fonte hooks up with Melrose, and they finally taste the lead here going into the fourth quarter. It's an 8-6 game.
Yeah, that was a nice corner route, actually, by that receiver, by Melrose. And that's a tough route to cover by a defender, but the defender was on him actually a little too much. They probably could have called a pass interference call on that, but it didn't let him dissuade him from making a great catch. That was an exciting play for their first touchdown of the game.
And by the way, this time the PAT is good. My eyes didn't deceive me. And why is that even more huge, Coach McKay? Well, a field goal is the difference on the board. And actually, for whatever reason, they're going to say that's not the final play of the third quarter. This will be the final play of the third quarter. Now the scoreboard's throwing me off. It's the first play of the fourth quarter, folks. I figured that's the right call. Clock was at 0, touchdown. We should go to the next
play
cue.
Was over.
You could just feel the electricity now in the stadium, Coach, after the first major by the London squad here at home.
I think this is the momentum that Junior Mustangs are going to want to keep rolling into the fourth quarter here. I expect you'll see a lot of energy of the kickoff team streaming downfield. It's a short one.
This one bounces off the 30. That ball's live if they want to get to it. Just hopping onto the biscuit, though, is Malachi Jackson. And they'll be at the 31 to start this next drive, down by 3.
Yeah, the kickoff team did a nice job just sort of pooching the ball to the 30-yard line where there was a big hole behind the first level and in front of the receivers. So there was a lot of play there. And once that ball gets bouncing around, it could go to anywhere. And in fact, number 1 for the Junior Mustangs, Smith, almost got on it before the Essex Raven finally figured out, hey, I better get on it first.
Almost like a baseball adage. Look for some open grass and good things will happen. And that time, just barely, Malachi Jackson saved it for his team.
Yeah.
It's going to be up to Malachi Jackson. Guys like, well, the aforementioned Liam Hazinga, who scored a touchdown in this game. And the man that's going to snap the ball right now, and Kevin Rakowska. Rakowska completes a pass to the far side. This one's reeled in. Open real estate. The first down, a little more for Dominic McKeezy. So McKeezy, the slot back, picks up about 15 here and moves it up to the 45.
Yeah, interesting. They had a defensive lineman sort of dropping out to the flat to pick him up. I don't think he was going to be any match for a receiver who ran the out.
Thanks for joining us on Junior Mustangs TV here on your Sunday afternoon. Hard to believe, Coach, this always started back on Friday night at 5:30. That's when we broadcasted Waterloo against the Forest City. That same night, we also broadcasted Chatham against Guelph in the U18 Regional Cup. As here's that 4-1 split you love so much. They're going to go to the run, and they get maybe 2 yards up the gut as a result.
Yeah, it looks like they're just going to have a steady diet of this formation. Again, it seems to be working for them a little bit, trying to draw those defenders out of the box. But again, number 1 for the Junior Mustangs, Smith, the cornerback.
You said his name quite a bit.
Yeah, I mean, he's isolated one-on-one with Essex ex-receiver who's isolated on the boundary side. And, you know, he's not given him much respect. So, as a defensive coordinator, I'd have him back about 7 yards just to give him a little bit of breathing room. But they haven't gone to him, so they just keep sort of running the ball inside, so you may not be too worried.
2nd and 8 here with 10:15 remaining in this fourth quarter dance. 3 run to the line. It is Rakowska looking over now to his left side. Has a target. This one is reeled in. He'll be tackled around the 50-yard line. That's McKeezy. Seems like that's Rakowska's favorite target in the second half.
Hey, I tell you what, for a defensive back to come onto the field and start slinging the pigskin like he is, he's doing okay. He's throwing out routes there, which are no easy task to throw. It takes some zip because you have defenders that are starting to close in on the receiver, and it's the wide side of the field, which is not an easy throw, so good on him.
3rd and 6, down by 3, 9:40 left on the board. What are you doing here?
Well, you know these guys are going for it. Well, they got 3 running backs in the backfield.
2's going to run to the line. Rakowski on the snap. Going to hand this one off to Ryan Connolly. Connolly trying to bulldoze his way towards the first down. I think he's just about a yard shy. Not due to the lack of effort of Ryan Connolly, though. He almost willed his team as he was caught at the line of scrimmage. He still managed to get 6 yards. Well, they're going to say 5.5. It's turnover on downs.
I don't think Coach Stenton would be very happy that they just almost ran an inside zone for a first down, but their front side offensive lineman got a great push, which gave just enough room for the running back to take that ball inside and get those 5 yards, but just shy of the first down.
This half is brought to you by the Barron Championship Rings, the official championship ring of Football Ontario. Barron is focused brand and their relentless commitment to design craftsmanship as this ball is snapped behind DJ Fonte and still loose. The pigskin's bobbling around. A pile of humanity down at the 40. I believe London has this ball still, but it'll be 2nd and a mile.
That went through about 5 different hands and alternated colors as it went. White, black, and it ended up with white, but I don't think the Junior Mustangs are going to want to play like that again. I think it just slipped through the hands of the quarterback and got loose.
I think both of these teams have subscribed to YouTube Plus because they do not like when I'm talking ads. Big plays seem to happen every time. But going back to Barron Rings, for more information on Barron Rings, just go to www.barronrings.com. Again, that's www.barronrings.com. And I've seen the Barron Rings. They're pretty snazzy, Coach.
We got 2nd and 25 here. That's some yardage to make up.
So Fonte rolling out to the right side. Pump fakes. This one could be intercepted, and it is. An ill-advised pass from Fonte. Getting thrown out of bounds by Potter is number 35. That's Cage Neff. Neff on the INT for the Ravens.
Yeah, they just tried to throw the second level flat route, but one of the receivers fell on the route, the under guy, which gave the defender a chance to drift back. And the deep receiver never came back to the ball. So whether that was thrown a little short or if the receiver ran a little deep, no matter, the second level defender got underneath that ball, was able to intercept it in the flat.
Using the Drake quote right now with 8:05 remaining, it's over. It's over. It's far from over, ladies and gentlemen, here in the 2022 Junior Varsity A Championship here in London, Ontario, between the London Junior Mustangs and the Essex Ravens. Ravens down by 3. Pump faking is Rakowski. Has a man deep. That's Malachi Jackson, but he's out of bounds. He'd be an ineligible player to catch that ball, even if it was a catchable pigskin.
That's right. That's too bad because they had the Junior Mustangs dead to rights there. That receiver was wide open. The corner ended up jumping on a quick hitch route by the wide receiver, and that left the second receiver to run a bit of a sideline route, and none of the defenders were able to get over top of him quick enough. Luckily, that ball was thrown wide outside, out of bounds.
Junior Mustang down around the 45-yard line. That appears to be Gower, the defensive lineman. And again, looking over that last play by stepping out of bounds. I don't think he can legally catch that ball at that point.
Nope. No, you cannot.
So we hope Gower's okay. He's laying on his back and being tended to right now by the training staff. And again, going back to the craziness that was this Summer Cup Football Ontario weekend here in London, Ontario. We had the 2 games Friday night between Waterloo and the Forest City and Chatham and Guelph. Then the Junior Mustangs TV decided, hey, you know what's 2 broadcasts when we can do 5? Well, that's what we did on Saturday. The Sandy Ruskell Cup, Forest City versus Guelph. Then we went to the KJ Memorial Cup, Brantford versus Hamilton. Another Sandy Ruskell Cup final in Vaughan versus Sudbury. Back to the KJ Kettamy Memorial Cup action in Cornwall versus Hamilton. And then U18 Sandy Ruxall Cup action between Huronia and Sarnia. That led us into today's action, Coach, where we already saw Waterloo take on Chatham, Hamilton take on Brantford. Myers lost a thriller to Burlington. And here we are, London versus Essex, not just here in the junior varsity kind, but as well in the varsity kind in the A Championship later on today. It's a mouthful. Imagine broadcasting it all.
Well, you're doing a great job of that. I tell you what, though, the Junior Mustangs are pretty grateful for a sideline right now, because the sideline sometimes makes the best 13th defender, and that was the case there in that play. I'd be a little steamy and hot in the face right now if I was a defensive coordinator after that play, but it worked out.
2nd and 10. Snap to Rakowska. Looks over to his left side. He's going to fire this one deep down the middle. Has a man behind the defense. This one is caught down at the 10-yard line. A 31-yard hookup is the man that already reeled in a touchdown in this game, Coach, Liam Havinga. Another big play now here in the 4th.
Yeah, that receiver just got the defensive back all turned around twice trying to track that ball in. Technically, when you're a defender, you want to just follow your receiver and then wait to the last second to try and make a play on that ball. But once you get turned inside out, it can kind of cost you, and that happened there.
If I'm a Ravens fan, yeah, I'm breathing a sigh of relief. But the other thing, we haven't seen a field goal attempted in this game yet, Coach.
Right.
Under 7 minutes remaining in this 4th quarter. Rakowska with the handoff. I believe that was Ryan Connolly, smothered by 2 Stangs products, including number 95, Militime, in on the action.
Yeah, and it looks like number 60 as well for the Junior Mustangs. That's Willie Black, big Willie Black from Lucas.
Coming over to the sidelines, wanting some instructions from his coaches before this next play is Kevin Rakowska. How impressive you've been with Rakowska's play in the second half, Coach. We watched him over the halftime break, simulating snaps in the end zone for pretty much 10 consecutive minutes.
And you know what I said. I said I'm going into the halftime telling my guys, okay, we can sort of start to toughen up against the run now, because this guy's not likely to throw, but he's proven that wrong for sure. So I'd start to pull my DBs off a little bit and just give him a little bit more respect.
Rakowska with the sky-high pitch. Having to get it down was Ryan Connolly. And talking about putting your teammate on the suicide path, as Connolly had to look up to the skies, haul the pigskin in with 2 or 3 white uniforms barreling down the pipe at him.
Yeah, that toss was just a little too long and a little too high, and it gave all the defenders about 6 minutes to react to that and come up and fill their lanes and cut him off before he got back to the line of scrimmage.
9-6. What a ball game.
Oh, yeah, looks like platform's going down.
So with a 3rd and 16 play, it does look like a field goal is about to be attempted here, and it'll be the guy that does the QBing. Well, he does the kicking too. Rakowska, near hash, 24-yard attempt. Snap in the hold is good. The kick is up, and it is good. 9-9 with 5:35 remaining in the championship game between London and Essex.
I tell you what, that number 20 for the Essex Ravens, he's got some guts, because this kid's coming in from a DB position. He's taken over at quarterback. He's running the offense. He's handing off the ball rather effectively, but even more impressively, he's been throwing the ball very effectively downfield, and I don't think the Junior Mustangs have been prepared for that at all, and nor would they.
And to sort of keep adding to that onion layer, if you will, Coach, you got to think for a guy like Rakowska who came into the Forest City today, he was probably thinking, okay, my boy Nate Rochello is going to handle all the I just got to do my job on the DB when they need to call my name. Well, like you just said, he's been the Swiss Army knife right now for the Ravens. Anything they need, they got from him.
Yeah, if that kid's in grade 9, I suspect he'll be playing quarterback next year when he returns to play for the junior varsity team, but we'll see.
5:35 remains on the fourth quarter scoreboard. If you're a London Junior Mustang, remember they got their first touchdown of the game, their first points offensively at the very end of the third quarter. Do you feel like momentum can still stay on your side offensively?
Yeah, it's definitely swung here in the fourth quarter, that's for sure. Essex has done a good job trying to get that, and it's another short kick.
Rakowska gets this one out of bounds, though, and that will cost them more yardage.
Yeah, not a bad play, actually. They're trying to kick that ball short to number 99, Thompson, who probably isn't on the field as a hands guy.
What I like from Thompson, though, he did put his hands up, looked at the sideline and recognized, wait a minute, it's not a catchable ball. It's going to go out of bounds, and that's going to give us some penalty yardage.
Yeah, and I probably would have just put my hands up and stood right in front of the first kickoff guy coming down the field. Yeah. My guess is he would have won the game of physics.
The shrug block, they call that. So 5:35 still on the clock here. The Junior Mustangs are going to start this drive from the 42-yard line. And again, with no time remaining in the third quarter, DJ Fonte from 15 yards out nailed it into the end zone. Camden Melrose. It wasn't Plexico Burris. Who made that catch for the Giants? As Manning, regardless, sheds off a tackle. First down and more. Manning down the near sidelines, eventually smothered down at the 32-yard line. That is a gain, Coach, of 40 yards on the money for Manning.
That was a great play. The Essex Ravens went with an outside. They went with a double 3 tackle, and Big Willie Black sets the lead block and keeps the defender from getting that first point of contact. That gave room for the running back to get to the second level and some space on the sideline.
Okay, I lied. It's 37 yards.
That's okay.
That's still pretty good for Manning out of the backfield. 4:40 remaining here in the fourth quarter of play. Settling down the offense is DJ Fonte. Looking over to that left side. This one is caught. Coming out of the pile, I believe that's number 6 this time on the reception. That, again, is the touchdown getter in Melrose.
Yeah, the defensive lineman jumped up and almost got a hand on that, like a volleyball block, but it just happened to thread through his hands where the receiver was sitting in the soft zone and just had enough room to grab that and go down.
I should probably let the cat out of the bag that Mrs. Melrose, Mama Bear Melrose, is our producer, our MVP of this broadcast, and her son may just maybe scrambling his name onto the MVP trophy in this one. However, trying to give him some gusto for that is Manning. Manning into the end zone. Touchdown, London from 14 yards out. He's the man. It's Manning.
That was a great run. It was just a late draw, an inside zone draw play where they just sort of open up the defensive end and the defensive tackle, let them go inside and outside, and just run the ball in between. And once they get to that second level, it's receivers block and defenders, and that running back just rumbled it into the end zone, virtually untouched.
Sounds so silly, but how huge is this PAT here with 3:56 left on the clock?
This will be an important point.
Manning, the guy that just ran for the touchdown, is going to be the holder here. The ball is snapped to Manning, who holds it down for his kicker, who boots it through with ease, and that's super troopish, as we call him. Troopish with the PAT. It's a 16-9 game with, 3:56 remaining on the board. And it's hard to believe, Coach. Well, after the first plus quarter of play, we had nothing on the board. Then, with 2:47 remaining, we had Liam Havinga finally get some points on the board in the opening half. Well, it took all the way to a safety in the third quarter of play to make it a 6-2 game. We ended the third quarter on London's first touchdown of the contest, a 15-yarder to Melrose. The PAT was good. Well, took about 7 minutes to retaliate, but Rakowska, doing it with his legs, doing it with his arm, and doing it with the boot, ends up hitting a 24-yard field goal to tie us up at 9-9. Well, breaking it open on this last drive was DJ Fonte in the quarterback position, but it is Manning's 14-yard gallop capping it off.
You had to know that the Junior Mustangs were going to break one at some point. Their offensive line is strong, and even though the Essex Ravens have a great defensive line, you have to crack one at some point, and there it is.
Ravens not sure where to be right now. Instead, their receiver is Ryan Connolly up to the 43-yard line. I thought for a split second that the Junior Mustangs kicker and Troopish was recognizing the fact that Damon Kennedy was late to the party and looked a little confused as to where he should be positionally out there.
Well, they just keep kicking the ball into the empty spots on the field, which is not a bad game plan. Well, you get it in the hands of a good returner, which invariably you have at the back, then anything can happen.
Well, then kudos goes to Kennedy because that is the vicinity and where he went, even though his coaches were telling him to go somewhere else.
That's right. Kick it away from the guy in black.
3:40 remains here in the fourth quarter. Ravens send two to the line and a late snap to Rakowska. Rakowska, flag on the play. He's hammered from behind, picked up by the Junior Mustangs. The big man rumbles with the ball. It's Thompson. However, let's see what the flag holds. This could still be Ravens' ball. If it's a hold, though, it's going to London possession with great field positioning.
Well, I didn't see what the flag was on the replay, but I tell you this, that quarterback had the receiver wide open.
It's a holding against the Ravens.
Good.
Kind of funny there, too. Haggerty, the defensive back, was trying to be nice to the official and pick up his flag, and the official, don't touch that thing.
Yeah, they don't like that. That's there for a reason.
Well, and to Haggerty's credit, it's a good thing it did because it's a turnover on downs. The penalty is declined. It was a holding against the Ravens. And you got to feel a little bad for the Ravens, a team that had a 6-0 lead, 6-2 in the third, came back to tie this up 9-9 here in the fourth. The game's starting to slip away when it matters most.
Yeah, and you know what? That was a big play by the front seven because, again, that receiver was behind the DBs, and if that ball was released, it was going to get caught for a first down or more.
Right behind the center is Fonte. Hands this one off to, I believe, Roberts. Roberts spun down to the turf. No, I apologize. It's another dose of Manning.
Yeah, that was just a massive humanity to the right. They had three running backs in the backfield there, and they just all led block off the right side.
Timeout on the play, or just allowing these substitutions to take place?
Yeah, I think I think they're feeling confident, probably just giving them a puff because a lot of these guys are on the field a lot today. It's hot out there, and they're going to get dehydrated.
34 degrees at kickoff, Coach. Felt like 41 with the Humidex.
No kidding. I'm not sure I'd be substituting this early, but you know what? Fresh legs with an offensive formation, maybe not a terrible idea.
Play action. They faked it to Manning. The toss is completed. Fonte, the man trucking through. Oh, I thought he touched the pylon to the near side before going out of bounds, but the nearest official says he's out at the 1. That's Potter with the freight train mentality out of the fullback position.
Yeah, and he was one-on-one with the corner once he caught the ball, and again, that's a physics lesson that's going to go one way only, and that's in favor of the fullback. So the fullback slips out of the backfield into the open flat. Essex is in zone coverage, catches the ball, and again, it's one-on-one against a little corner. So I bet he'd like to do that again and try and get in the end zone. But
I thought that last-ditch effort, though, when he reached for the pylon.
Hey, kudos to the corner. Maybe he's made the touchdown-saving tackle.
Fonte, the QB sneak, pushes into the end zone. Touchdown, London. DJ Fonte, the classic QB sneak, adds the points to the board here with 2:41 remaining in the game. There's still football left, folks, but it's going to take a miraculous effort by the visiting Ravens to come back in this championship tilt.
Oh, well, that QB sneak was so sneaky that the referees didn't even know where the ball was. It was halfway to the back of the end zone.
That's how sneaky it was. So DJ Fonte, have yourself a day, kid, as he's led this team all the way to the championship dance. They faced adversity being down in this one. Let's face it, I mean, I don't know about you. I was very concerned by halftime and getting very concerned by midway of that third quarter going, well, wait a minute. This is a team that put out a division-leading 233 points in the regular season, and they haven't put out a point yet? Well, they threw that logic right out the window in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, I was a little concerned when Rakowska came on and turned out to be a little bit more than what we were expecting and gained some momentum from the Junior Mustangs in the second half. I don't think they were expecting that. And you know what? When you get momentum, sometimes that's hard to get back. But the Junior Mustangs have done a good job of it.
If we put ourselves in the Ravens' shoes, though, you're down 23-9. Time is of the essence, 2:41 left. You go back to that 4-1 formation, but then try and get it to Malachi Jackson?
I'd isolate the X on the backside, but I'd also do the same thing they've done the last couple of times where they run that little hitch with the wide receiver and they sneak the slot back up the sideline. That's been open twice for the Essex Ravens.
Every time they went for the short kick. Well, Essex was expecting that. Malachi Jackson goes all the way back into his own end zone, stuttering out. Coach, he's got to get out, or that should be a safety. That should be a safety, and it is.
He came out of the end zone and went back in, so that's 2 more points for the Junior Mustangs. I think he regrets that decision, but kudos to the Junior Mustangs. They did not give him much room to move.
I'm sure you got a lot more coaching accolades than I do, Mr. McKay, but I would call this quicksand right now. Yeah. The Essex Ravens, the faster they try to move, the more aggressive they try to get, the further they're sinking in.
Yeah, it's just a comedy of errors almost, to a point where you lose that momentum, and if you can't get it back, it can really slip away on you.
Now, a Ravens coach is arguing here, but as you could clearly see on the replay, he goes back into the purple turf, and then after he goes back into the purple turf, he never gets beyond that white line. That white line, folks, is still in the end zone.
Yep, and it doesn't matter because he was fully into the purple, came out,
there's no way. I mean, you can't give the guy anything.
Yeah, he doesn't have the luxury of a replay like we do, so he may not. He's just frustrated as well because, like you said, momentum has slipped away, and you always want the best for your kids, and you're going to fight for them. But unfortunately, that one is what it is, and it's a safety. And now the Junior Mustangs get the ball back.
And Coach Joe and the rest of his staff have had one heck of a season. As I was mentioning before, 146 points forward, second in the division. Only 51 points allowed, also second in the division. They shut out the Panthers, the Spears, the Bisons in the regular season. And they hammered the Burlington Stampeders and Durham Dolphins, both close losses in the postseason to get to this championship game. And as I keep kind of spinning that record or kicking on that unfortunate horse, they had a 6-0 lead and pretty much were dominating until the halftime break. It'd be really interesting to see what this game would have been like if Nate Rochello was still able to play.
Yeah, agreed. If I'm going into that change room after the game and I'm giving a football to number 20, the Rakowska that steps in, man, because that kid came in and they would have had nothing had he not stepped up like he did. So they definitely got a lot more out of him and the team than maybe they could have or should have in the second half. So there's no reason to hang heads here in this game.
That last play, they faked the handoff to Manning, and they end up keeping it to the quarterback in Fonte, who scrambled out of bounds in front of his own bench, but not before moving the sticks here, Coach, up at the 46-yard line.
Yeah, the Junior Mustangs just got to grind it now with the ground game, run some of that time off the clock, try and pick up a couple of first downs as they go, and the game should be in the books, not to jinx it, but there's a power by the Junior Mustangs, and you're going to see a lot of inside zone and power now. Just a lot of safe, secure inside running and just pounding the rock.
Well, and you see an attempted dagger there, too, by Eli Dabowski-Elliott as he was trying to come in from behind and punch that pigskin out, because that's pretty much all they got left right now.
Yeah, good defensive coaches will teach that. Like, don't just go for the tackle. Go for the strip at the same time. You want 2-3 guys on the ball, on the running back, on the ball carrier. First guy secures the tackle. Second guy in, secures, tries to strip the ball.
Want to again thank the entire football community. Thank you to Football Ontario partners, the Western Mustangs, the London Junior Mustangs, the London Beefeaters, the Forest City Thunderbirds for making this inaugural Summer Cup a true success.
Yeah, the Junior Mustangs have gone to a double tight formation now just to stretch that line out. So that's pretty much an indication that they're going to keep the ball on the ground.
Manning gets hog-tied from behind. He'll be stymied behind the line of scrimmage. It'll bring up third down with 2:01 remaining in this contest. Down by 17, or 18, I apologize. The Essex Ravens will get the ball back. So once again, a big shout out to Quest Awards. Hopefully I'm going to get it right this time. They've specialized in producing high quality patent plaques, corporate awards, sports awards, promotional items, and giftware utilizing the power and precision of laser engraving and advanced computer technology. They take great pride in quality workmanship that goes into the production and quality and delivery of every product we ship. That's Quest Awards, folks. Check them out. Once again, thanks for joining us here on Junior Mustangs TV. He's Coach McKay. I'm Jonathan Urbanowicz. We got 2 minutes left in this championship dance. The punt goes all the way down to the 40. It's taking actually a bad bounce in favor of the Mustangs. Now, interesting, a very late flag thrown on that one.
Yeah, I'm not sure what the delay was because he was clearly within the 5-yard halo rule. He wasn't involved in the play, but the rule has changed for safety. It doesn't matter. If you are within that 5 yards at the time on a punt, when that punt returner catches the ball.
And it's on the ground, right? That would be 5 yards.
Correct. It's going to get flagged.
And if it's caught and the person's within that halo, it's a 15-yarder.
Correct. And I believe they've changed the rule again that it's all 15 yards now, regardless of whether it's on the ground or in the air, I believe.
That one was 5, though. They just gave him 5.
That was 5? Okay, so perhaps
maybe on the high school level, Coach.
Yeah, because we've been doing a lot for safety to try and keep the game safer, and that was one area that we had discussed changing.
On that particular play, though, you can't. I mean, the ball's English is coming back at you.
Nothing was gained.
The kick covers can't really do anything.
And there's that play.
Rakowska to Malachi Jackson. He dove forward and it just scooted out at the last second. I wanted it so bad. Malachi Jackson's had, 3 or 4 huge plays in this game. He wants that one.
Well, I think, and that's the play that I was talking about, where they run the quick hitch with that wide receiver and run the second receiver down the sideline. I think Coach Stenning, the defensive coordinator for Junior Mustangs, said, look it, guys, you've been beat twice on this. Luckily, the ball hasn't got there. Make sure you get over top from the safety position, and they did there, so he was covered up if he was able to catch that ball.
Is it safe to say it's deep ball or bust?
Yeah, pretty much.
2 run to the line. Rakowska, house is coming down, takes a hit to make the play. Unfortunately, overthrew the intended target in Liam Havinga, but not to the lack of effort by Rakowska. I mean, let's face facts. When Nate Rochello went down, most sports critics in this building were saying, okay, it's going to be nothing but the London Junior Mustangs from here on out. That wasn't the case. It actually took the Ravens sacrificing a safety midway through the third quarter just to get London on the board. That made it a 6-2 game, and in the last play of the third quarter, DJ Fonte found his star receiver in Camden Melrose, who reeled in the touchdown, and that gave London their first taste of the lead. It did get tied up at 9-9, but eventually when they regained it through Manning, they did not relinquish it again.
Yeah, and the Junior Mustangs are defensively in a prevent now. Their defensive backs are way, way back.
Now, will that go down as a sack for the offensive lineman as Lucas Brown ends up hitting his own quarterback down to the turf?
Yeah, he was trying to chase his defensive lineman that got past him into the backfield and happened to cross over into the quarterback's way.
96 seconds remains in this championship dance. Thanks for joining us on Junior Mustangs TV for this Football Ontario U16 Varsity A Championship. We presented you U14, U16, U18 Summer Cup Championship games of the ABN. See you later variety.
And again, I think the Junior Mustangs are going to come out with again, just a ground game, run the clock out.
Not quite into victory formation just yet.
No. A first down would be nice for them here.
Manning right up the gut like a hot knife through butter. He just keeps going. You wanted a first down, you get a first down.
That was a nice second effort by the running back. Took it inside, got bounced off by the linebacker, and kept his legs moving.
Notice, sadly, though, a lot of stagnant legs in a black uniform.
Yeah, they're gearing down for sure. I mean, and which is a shame because these guys are still in this game, and they had stopped the offensive run all day of the Junior Mustangs.
Well, and the Ravens had one heck of a season, Coach. If you include their 2 postseason wins plus the 2, they call them exhibitions at the beginning, this is a team that was 10-0 coming into today's game.
Yeah, this whole franchise is a quality franchise. They got great athletes in Windsor. and run by, great coaches, and Glenn Mills is down there.
Never see that play too often. You fake the handoff to the running back turns into your fullback, and you just follow him.
Just following along, yeah. Yeah, part the C.
Why don't I see that more often? Looks like a pretty decent play to me.
It is, actually. You do see it quite a bit. A lot of teams in the London high school area
I got to watch more Broncos football is what you're saying.
Well, we don't run it too much, but Mackenzie Ferguson and
you had a name
like
drop. You're name dropping now.
They used to run it a lot back in the day.
Mackenzie Ferguson, Russ Jackson Award winner when he played on this turf for the Western Mustangs. And he also played for the London Junior Mustangs, did he not?
He did, yeah, that's right.
I mean, talk about great alumni and connections all around.
Yeah, he was not a quarterback by nature, but he was one of our best quarterbacks over the years for the Broncos. And
he ended up turning into one heck of a free safety for Marshall and the Mustangs.
He sure did, yeah. And he came back for that extra year after graduating and going back for his master's. He thought he was done, and he got called back in.
Can you talk about this timeout right now? Because, I'm not trying to chirp. I'm sure you have over the years been in this position where the game is over. What are you saying to your team?
I'm telling my guys, you've played a great game. Keep your head up. You do not stop playing now, because that's when people get hurt. But you also want to make sure you continue to play with integrity. You want to make sure you do it the right way at the end. This team beats you fair and square. Let's finish the game out on a high note for the program, not just for this next set of plays.
And as it is in the sport of football, especially in youth, these are junior varsity athletes. Some will stay on the JV level. A lot will advance up to the varsity level. And we still got the varsity championship coming up at 7 p.m. originally scheduled. I think they might delay that a little bit as we're currently at 6:40 local time.
Yeah, well, again, the boys have warmed up, and I don't think they're going to need much more warming up. They'll want some plays on the turf, but that's about it. Oh.
Fonte keeps it. It's got to be careful here. He's trying to get to the far sidelines. Dipsy doodles his way, then takes an awkward slide. That's a good way to pop a knee.
Yeah, I'm not sure I would have called that play. I don't want my quarterback with the ball at this stage of the game. I would have handed that off and let the trained guys do it and the running backs.
The only thing I'll play devil's advocate on is at least there's not another game to worry about.
That is true. But it's a little saucy maybe at this point of the game.
I really wish, maybe this is something for the OSFL presidents and board members, but wouldn't it be cool to actually see this champion then go play other champions of different provinces?
Yeah, that would be great. I mean, a lot of other sports are having national championships where they bring the champions together and play. I mean, obviously cost is a factor, and they've put a lot of money and investment in with the Team Ontario stuff. But let's get a bunch of teams together and play off.
London Junior Mustangs TV called the National Championship, the 113th CJFL Championship. It was the first time ever hosted in London, and it happened right on this field. Yeah. Unfortunately, didn't go the London Beefeaters' way. The Langley Rams, who were a bridesmaid numerous times in their franchise history, were finally the bride.
Yeah, then the Beefeaters had a great season. And
look at this kick. It should be a rouge as it goes out to the corner for a single for my French fans out there. So with 38 seconds remaining here in the game, you can add another point to the board. It'll be a 26-9 score here from Western University. So once again, thanks for joining us here on Junior Mustangs TV. Don't be afraid to give us a like and hit the subscribe button. We love you, so love us too. After the single or rouge, however you want to word it, the ball's placed at the 35-yard line here with 38 seconds left in the game.
I expect the Essex Ravens are now just going to run the ball. I don't think they're going to put the ball in the air here. I think the smart thing to do is just hand it off to their running back and let them take it inside for a couple of easy tackles and not get anybody hurt.
So Rakowska takes the snap. He's not going to listen to your advice. Get out of here, Coach McKay, he says, as he was trying to find Malachi Jackson, who actually took a hit before the ball got there. Flags stay away, though, and it brings up 2nd and 9.
Yeah, he was just going for the ball and ended up clipping the receiver a little bit in doing so. The ball wasn't really catchable at that point, so they're going to let it go at this point of the game.
Oh, if it was a 9-9 game, you wouldn't be saying that, Coach.
That might be true. That might be true.
Thanks for joining us, though, once again here on Junior Mustangs TV. This has been one heck of a weekend, and this has been one heck of a junior varsity football championship game.
Yeah, it's been a good one. It's been a great game between the two great teams.
Ravens out of the back. Rakowska smothered in the backfield. It'll go down as a huge tackle for a loss. had his helmet ripped off and still did his stuff anyway. That's Bush, the defensive lineman. And
he's going to get a flag
Yeah,
for
I was going to say, you can't do that.
No. Once the helmet comes off, number one, you have to go off for 2 plays or 3 plays. And then when you showboat to boot, you're probably going to get a flag for a penalty on top of that.
See, I remember when I played high school football, you couldn't even celebrate after a touchdown. That was a flag.
Really?
Yeah. You couldn't. A little too librarian-esque, if you ask me.
Yeah, they let a little bit more go these days, which I think is good for the game as long as it doesn't get carried away.
I think this is maybe a baseball expression when you're getting upset with the umpire. As long as it's not to your face, right. I don't think there should be any taunting called.
Exactly.
If I'm walking away from you and going, yeah, I just did that, well, that's not really taunting. Me getting nose-to-nose with you and going, hey, I just did that to you, that's taunting.
Doing it to your sideline or to your teammates on the field is one thing.
Here's a pop fly set down.
That's going to be a flag, though.
Now, that's intercepted. I don't think he had his foot in bounds to complete the INT. It was Nichols pulling away the ball as Malachi Jackson has a little bit of words back and forth for him.
Yeah, the pass interference call is going to negate any interception anyways, even if it was in bounds, because he gave him a good shove at the end of the play there. So that'll be a pass interference call for 15 yards. And
it's been a frustrating game for Malachi Jackson, but you got to cool down a little bit when you notice it's a full team effort. So you can't just put it on yourself at this point.
No, absolutely not. No.
And again, going back to what I was saying, a team that beat the Peel Panthers, Niagara Spears, Burlington Stampeders, Brantford Bisons, Cambridge Lions, Hamilton Junior Tiger Cats, and then they technically beat London on a forfeit because London didn't play after the legend of KJ Kennedy passing away. As this ball is handed off to Ryan Connolly, who drags 3 junior Stangs up to the 54-yard line with him.
Yeah, that's what they got to do here. Again, even throwing that ball up to a receiver down the field at this point, kind of risks getting someone hurt. It's not going to make a difference. You're not coming back. So run the ball on the ground, keep it safe, and get out of this game without any more injuries.
So once again, it'll be Rakowska with a 2nd and 6 play. This could potentially be the final play of the game. Rakowska throws it. It won't be the final play of the game, though, Coach, because there's a penalty on the play.
Yeah, another pass interference.
Now, London's running onto the field. However, I don't think they realize that there was a penalty thrown.
Well, unless that penalty was thrown on Essex, in which case they could decline the penalty. I think it was called on number 1 for pass interference.
So the officials trying to settle things down. The Mustangs, like a GG, sprinted out of the gate. Maybe a little too soon.
Yeah. Oh, they declined it.
They do decline the penalty. And even though it's against the Junior Mustangs, the penalty's declined. That ends the game, folks. It's a purple rain in 2022. They won it for Coach Jay. It's a 26-9 final. The Junior Mustangs are supreme in the Junior Varsity A Championship. They defeat the undefeated Essex Ravens here on your Sunday afternoon. Your Ontario Summer Football League inaugural champions are the Junior Mustangs.
What a great nail-biter by a great set of 2 teams. Neither of these teams should be, or the Ravens should not be disappointed for their game today. They played a heck of a game, and especially in the face of some adversity, losing their quarterback. They should be very proud about how they played.
What I love is the varsity team went out onto the field. I thought for a second, oh, wow, it's like they really care about the junior team. No, they went straight onto the field to stretch and get ready for their game.
They got to get down to business. They're coming on the field in a few minutes, so they can celebrate this after the season. It's time to get ready for a battle.
The London Junior Mustangs, Coach, after putting up a division-leading 233 points, put up 26 in the championship game. They only allowed 33 points on the field, 36 points when you include the forfeit loss, and that was number 1 in the league. Well, defense truly wins you championships as they stymie the Essex Ravens to just 9 points here on your Sunday.
I don't think hurting the quarterback in the game was their game plan, but when it happens, it certainly changes the momentum of the game in theory and allows your defense to sort of run amok and do what they've done well all season.
And to further that fact, it was not like Nate Rochello was taken out by a dirty hit.
No.
It was a football play.
Yeah.
And regardless of whether you're a Mustangs fan or an Essex fan, you don't want to see anybody get hurt. And it truly did change the story of the game. I don't know if it changed the outcome because I think Rakowska had a heck of a second half, and it wasn't due to a lack of effort by the Ravens at all.
No, those injuries can happen to any team, right? And so how do you rise over that adversity, and how do you make those adjustments? And the Ravens did a great job of it, but they just came up short. That front 6 and 7 of the junior Mustangs is formidable. And, I mean, it was tough to get the ball downfield on them on the ground. And they did a little bit of damage in the air, but once the quarterback went out, it was tough to sort of maintain that and sustain that momentum.
And as the greatest line in all of sports is formed at midfield here at Western University, can you just overall summarize this year for the London Junior Mustangs, knowing that technically on the turf, they went undefeated in 2022?
Yeah, I think they can say that with full heart. I mean, they should be proud of that, and they should feel that. And I mean, when they gave up that game for Coach K, I think they did a great job overcoming adversity, because when you lose such an important part of a program that's been here for so long, emotionally and mentally, that can certainly impact a team and individuals, and how you react to that really says a lot about your character.
And thinking of Coach Jay, I know that he's smiling down on this field. I thought about this pregame. You know, it really didn't matter win or lose, knowing Coach KJ Kedemi, like so many thousands in the football community did. He was just happy about seeing a day like this here in the Forest City, bringing communities together from all across this entire province and playing the sport that he loves so much.
Yeah, how amazing that all the teams got to come here and play on this field, which obviously I'm a bit of a homer, is the best field in the country.
But it's going to host the Vanier Cup this year,
exactly.
To your credit.
It was a good warm-up. That's right. That's right. So this has been great. I mean, when you can get kids playing the game and being able to do it in one place as a full celebration and festival, that's a win.
So once again from TD Stadium, no alumni field at Western University, the London Junior Mustangs prevailed 26-9. However, they faced a lot of adversity. 2:47 left in the quarter of the opening half. It was a 24-yard TD bomb to Liam Havinga from Nate Rochello. However, they missed the PAT. Rochello got hit twice, and then eventually was knocked out of the game. His punter, kicker, runner, defensive back, you name it, Rakowska had to take over. He actually conceded a safety in the third quarter, and that sort of changed momentum in the wins, if you will, Coach, as all of a sudden London had points on the board in a 6-2 game. The final play of the third quarter, Camden Melrose made an appearance and turned TD, Alumni Field, into Melrose Place with his 15-yard hookup. The PAT was good, 9-6. Quickly thereafter, Rakowska hit a 24-yard field goal to tie us up at 9-9. But within the final 5 minutes of this championship game, it was all purple and white. A 14-yard rushing touchdown from Manning. A 1-yard QB sneak from Fonte. A safety on an incredible kick coverage play, and then a single added on the very end of this game. 26-9. Your final thoughts, Coach, as they're about to present the awards at midfield.
Yeah, I'm curious. I mean, I think Rakowska, number 20 for Essex Ravens, would get a vote for game MVP for me. I mean, even though they didn't win, I mean, for that kid to come on and do what he did in all aspects of the game was impressive. I mean, I think the Junior Mustangs win was more of a team win, right, coming from receivers and on the ground from the running back and the quarterback. But Rakowska was a one-man wrecking crew once he got put in there in a position where he's not used to playing in a high-pressure game like the championship. Yeah, that kid's got something.
It's safe to say the defensive MVP of this game, though, will probably go to a Junior Mustang, knowing that they held the Essex Ravens to just 9 points.
Yeah,
it looks like they're going to give it to Thompson. Now, again, I know Ravens fans don't want to hear this, but it was Thompson's massive hit on Rochello that set the tone defensively at the beginning of this game. And you hate to see Rochello get hurt. However, Rochello was able to toughen it out after that hit to come back into this game. However, after taking a second hit after throwing the ball, his day was over.
Yeah, 99 was all over the field in the backfield, supporting the run, pressuring the quarterback and the pass. Hopefully he goes to a private school in town, because I suspect we'll see him at some point this season.
And something we are starting to see a ton more on the local level. I know this might grind your molars as a high school football coach, more kids going down south to football academies to further their football careers and potential for collegiate athletics.
Yeah, I mean, if you have the means to do so, and that's what your goal is, I mean, I'm all for it. Go for it. I mean, I think going down south to those prep schools is one thing. I think staying home to the prep schools here in Canada is a different thing. I'm not sure it has the same value as going down south, but you know what? If that's a path to your future goals, then go for it.
DJ Fonte was your MVP offensively, coach. He had 8 rushing touchdowns during the regular season to couple with his 9 throwing touchdowns. Here, his QB sneak in the fourth quarter really seemed to be, well, the nail in the coffin as the MVP of the game. Goes to the man that had the 14-yard rushing touchdown in Manning, and to be honest with you, he truly was the hammer and the nail all Sunday afternoon.
Yeah, he had a day, didn't he?
And again, you're a high school guy. You got to be scouting a little bit of these guys, or what?
Yeah, I wish the rosters had what schools they go to on it. I got to be honest with you. Maybe that's something we can put in there, because sometimes it's great to give plugs to the kids' high schools, right? And their kids, their friends listening back home wherever they're from.
Well, I know a lot of Essex Ravens came from Sandwich. Sandwich.
Sandwich, Herman, yeah. The perennial powerhouses down there.
So once again, Michelle Kenemy, the late KJ Kenemy's wife, is on the field. What a touching moment. She has the championship in her hands. She's going to walk it out to midfield and give it to the purple and white ponies, and that's got to be a great scene all around. I know there's somebody looking down right now with smiles from ear to ear.
Well, this would definitely be an emotional moment for her and for the entire Junior Mustang family for sure.
Thank you so much for joining us here on Junior Mustangs TV on your Sunday afternoon. Jay, they did it for you, big fella. The London Junior Mustangs, in my opinion, remained undefeated in 2022 despite suffering one forfeited loss. After suffering a deeper loss off the field, well, they redeemed that fake loss, if you ask me, by pounding their opponents 26-9 in the would-be rematch in the championship game.
And I think there's one more team on the field right now that wants to do it for finish it off for Coach K as well. Then Coach K coached the varsity team this year, and this is the team that's about to play the last championship of the weekend. And I think for these guys, I have a number of players on this team, and I know they're very emotional over the last few weeks. I think they are going to play with even more heart and even more emotion on their sleeves to do it for Coach K.
So as the London Junior Mustangs gather at midfield to celebrate their 2022 Ontario Summer Football League Junior Varsity A Championship, we will bid you adieu from TD Alumni Field. But wait a minute. Don't go anywhere, as we still have a 7 p.m. tip-off. Well, I don't know about that. It might be pushed back a little bit in the varsity side of things. If you had fun, let's do it again, folks. For the rest of the Junior Mustangs crew, including Coach McKay, I'm Jonathan Urbanowicz. Mustangs win! Mustangs win!